An hour? That's a lot. Oh my god. I thought this was over. Do you know how many hours I've streamed like related to this situation? I think it's probably over 20 hours at this point I've spent. Not to mention the time it's going to take to write the video essay about this and then get it edited and the money that's going to go into it. And Caitibugzz, wow. All right. Whatever. Fine. Dude, making me watch an hour of this is way worse than George going gorilla mode. Do you think she's singing something Skibbity related right now? So baby, grunt me closer.
Thank you again.
Bruh. Hi mods. Oh no. Stop with the hi mods, dude. Hi mods. Thank you again for banning all the dissenting opinion in my chat and everyone who's mean to me. Hi mods. Thank you again. Have you guys noticed that with these girls, there's there's sort of two voices they do. There's the high pitched one, which is the one they put on, which is like the, hi, it's me. And then there's the real voice, which is kind of a more masculine voice. It's kind of like a, hey mods, how's it going? Hi mods, how's it going? There's like a thing I noticed with these girls, okay? These kinds of girls, okay? The Caitibuggzes of the world, I've experienced this, okay? It's kind of dark. I don't know what's going on. This drama made me go brown pilled poopy style. Yeah. Fill that diaper. So baby, gronk me closer in the back skibbity toilet that I know you can afford. Kaisa not tatted on your shoulder. Really? You're gonna make me do this, dude? Speed it up, dude. Listen, we gotta listen to her whole response, okay? It's important to take it all in. This is the victim statement. This is part of it, okay? Don't you disrespect an SA victim.
This is really awkward.
Taking longer than usual. It's because nobody likes you. Nobody's watching you. Embarrassing. All right, we are gonna speed her up a little bit.
Oh gosh, here we go.
We're going down in an early round. And Katie, we're going down swinging. I'll be another one with a bullet. A loaded false allegation complex. Cock it and pull it. We're going down in an early round.
Is everyone here now?
Yes, I'm here. Oh my god, Katie.
Maybe?
I'm so excited.
Yeah. I guess it is time.
It's time.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
This is
Hi.
the stream.
I'm Tom. Do you know me?
I apologize that it's so.
Do you remember me?
And not. You know what I mean?
It's so skibbity.
It's the stream I promised that I would do.
Oh my god.
My final thoughts on everything.
Your final thoughts.
You know,
oh my god, I'm so excited.
Everything that I need to get out before I can even begin to heal anything.
Bruh. The language, bro. Heal. Before I can learn to heal. Maybe I just don't like women. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an incel. Maybe I'm just destined to be an incel forever, no matter how much I try. Would you ever try doing with iDubbbz? I feel like iDubbbz would never do it. I feel like Anissa would never let that happen. I would like to if he wanted to. Maybe if he one day wakes up and realizes the hell he's put himself through, then that could happen. And it would be interesting. Because I don't even hate iDubbbz. I just it's kind of just like a sad story at this point, right? It's kind of just fucking depressing. In my mind, it's just sad to watch that, you know? Like, just because he was so good, you know? And it's not like he's even done anything, like, extremely egregious. Like, he's not like a fucking... Like, with a lot of commentary YouTubers, or just YouTubers in general, like, what are the paths you have? It's like domestic abuse, pedophile. I mean, those are, I guess, the worst cases, but it feels like that's a lot of drama these days. I mean, there's a reason why Ultimate Review exists or whatever, right? So, it seems like that's a lot of the drama. With iDubbbz, I mean, it's nothing even like that. It's just like, he stopped being funny. I mean, I guess you could argue, like, what happened with Sam Hyde is bad, but, like, overall, like, the big thing is, like, he just stopped making good videos and stopped being funny, you know? Do an MDE documentary? I feel like people have already done that. I don't really want to do an MDE documentary, honestly. Also, like, I feel like an MDE documentary, a lot of it would just be me, like, liking them a lot, you know? And there's probably more to the story than just, like, how much I fucking like them. Somebody doing, like, a genuinely non-biased, like, documentary about MDE that not only covers the... Because the problem is, like, there's, like, two camps of people who would be willing to review that. It would be, like, the leftist, like, libtard freaks who would, like, be going over his being like, he's a racist Nazi and that's why he should never be listened to and everything he makes sucks and he's a fucking asshole. And then this other side, which is like the alt-right dudes to an extent who are like, this guy's a fucking genius, oh my god, he's the second coming of Christ, you know? And it's like, that's kind of the two viewpoints you can have. And like, I feel like it's more nuanced than that. Like, Sam's work is really, really good. It's really great. I'm not really a political person, but I think if you don't think that any of his work is political, then maybe you just haven't really watched it. And I'm not trying to sound like condescending here, but like, I think a lot of people have seen his stuff and just like, for some reason have never picked up on like, there is like political stuff. Like, do I think his stuff should have been kicked off Adult Swim? No, but it's like, there is definitely like a bunch of right-wing shit in the show, you know? And like, not that that's necessarily an issue, but I feel like I would like to see someone who's just like an outsider and doesn't really have a stake in any political ideology actually tell the story front to back of all of that, you know? I think that would be good because MDE is really good, really exciting.
So here it is. I apologize that it is later, I'm pretty sure, than I said. I've been really sick. And I was hoping that I could wait to do this so I could be of right mind too, and wait until I got better, but I've just been getting worse. Wise,
Hi,
so
Katie.
I
How are
figured
you
I
doing
would just do
today?
it now because obviously not going to be getting better anytime soon. So, here it is. Like I said, this is a stream. It's just my final thoughts on everything. If
17
you're
months
looking at the
KTism.
stream, for me to like expose
There's nothing wrong with waiting, by the way. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with waiting. Like, if you're going through allegations, like, if you genuinely believe you were sexually assaulted, like, why would you not just wait to get the story straight instead of jumping out in front of it and making, like, a rash decision, especially if you know you're emotional and you might say something bad, right? Nobody ever wished they responded sooner. Watching between sets, did you work out? I did work out.
and drop new drama or just anything to talk about. It's not that kind of stream. And I apologize if you think it
Love you,
is going to be. It's
KTSM,
just
less than 3.
everything I need to say from my voice, coming from me. I also apologize. I will be, stopping, stuttering. I can't control the emotions I show during this. I didn't even write anything to
Love
say.
and
I've written
support you,
down,
love
the
Katie,
things I
love
want to talk
Katie,
about,
love.
but it's not something I can just sit and read, which is hard for me because it's hard to just voice how I'm thinking, what I'm thinking. So I do.
Why is she looking, like, up here? Like, I don't always look right in the camera because it kind of doesn't make sense, but because the camera's here and what I'm watching is here, but why does she never look like she's looking like away? Is her camera here and her monitor's like up here? Like, how does that work logistically? It just doesn't really make sense, her stream is quiet. Gotcha. Well, we can turn to the freak out. Sorry about that.
Do ask that you guys be patient with me. And this isn't edited, so I can't, go back or cut out the pauses that I make. So
Love
again, I
you,
apologize.
Buzz,
This is
Katie,
gonna be
heart,
all over the
Katie,
place
heart.
and probably not make any sense.
She has Belle Delphine mannerisms. She does have Belle Delphine mannerisms. That's true. The like head bob, like the head bobbing. Head bobbing, you know what I mean? Can you soy face for seconds? I'm almost finished. Oh, I'm doing. There you go.
But I'm doing it anyway. I guess. I also want to thank
Love
everyone
you, KT.
that is even just here. Even if you're here for the absolute wrong reasons
Try to get on Jesse Lee Peterson's show, maybe.
and you hate me, hate my guts, I want to thank you anyway for being here to hear me. Because there's a lot of people right now that are even just only watching clips from things I've said and refuse to watch the full thing, where there's a lot of people that only want to watch his videos on it, especially because of the latest video using clips from my stream. They really don't feel it's necessary to watch or read any of my stuff.
I don't think these people exist, by the way. Like, literally the majority of people who were watching this go down initially came out in favor of Katie and wanted to support her. To this day, I would say there are probably more people who support Katie than support George or Dream, from the Stan community anyway. Outside of that, obviously, when you get reasonable people talking about it, like myself, because I'm so reasonable and intelligent, or Destiny or Nick Diorio or Asmongold, obviously things are going to change a little bit. But I would say overwhelmingly, like, the majority of people have seen everything. I think this is just a mental cope for the fact that she got blown the fuck out of the water. And it's like, oh, well, they don't know the full story. They don't know the full context. They haven't seen everything. And it's like, no, everybody watched everything. Like, I watched everything. How can it be that, like, all of these independent people came to the same conclusion after watching it all, It seems kind of silly.
And it's hard. I feel like I don't have a voice in my own story, if that makes sense. So I really want to thank you guys for at least being here, hearing me out. Again, I'm sorry if
What do you mean you don't have a voice in your own story? You're where the story came from. You're what everybody's picking apart and talking about. You know what I mean? Like, literally, that's the entire reason it came out. I literally, if you watch my stuff on this, right? If you watch, I'm gonna jerk myself off a little bit here to see my fair coverage. When I initially streamed about this, my reaction to her was like extremely fucking, I'd say, tame and like even charitable to her, I would say.
And that fact would never change, no matter how
Like
hard
this, because the story she initially came out with was like she was just sitting on a couch and all of a sudden George Not Found put his hands up her shirt and it was like crazy, right?
I thought about it. I changed after that. I believe.
And at the time there were a lot of people in my chat who were saying things to the effect of like, she's lying, bitch, she's faking crying or whatever. And I was like, no, you know what, guys, give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she's telling the truth. We should wait to hear the other side. And that's always the way I've operated with these things, right? I mean, I at least would like to hear the other side before I decide, right? If this person is telling the truth or lying. And I give victims the benefit of the doubt, sometimes to my own detriment, but I like to do that. Well, some of the chat ended up being right on this one. She was definitely lying about a lot of it. And just to recap, didn't mention they were cuddling on the couch at all during her initial statement. Didn't mention anything about the fact that she got up multiple times and got back with him. She ended up faking a screenshot and claiming it was from another person when it actually wasn't from them to corroborate her story, which we'll get into, I'm sure, in this video when she responds to it, I assume. Unless she just doesn't respond to that, but we'll see that. But yeah, like, you know, I'm trying to do my fucking journalistic due diligence and like wait for the other side of the story before I draw a conclusion. And even at that, like I'm generally pretty, I would say, middle of the road on these things, right? Unless it's like clear that someone is lying, and Katie did clearly lie at this point a little later on. So I mean, it's just extremely frustrating to see someone like this like be able to paint herself as a victim when she's the reason why this entire situation started in the first place. And like she can say like, oh, it's a mischaracterization or I misspoke, and I assume she'll do that in this video and try to pass off responsibility, because why the wouldn't she? There's no way she's going to admit to lying. But yeah, it's just like, this is all your fault that this happened. And you didn't get sexually assaulted, straight up. Unless she's got some crazy receipts in this video, they're going to change everything around. But have a feeling there's going to be a stark lack of receipts.
Say things the wrong way and just use the wrong wording or go back. It's just crazy right now. Everything's crazy. But I thank you guys for being here. Anyways. The fence post must feel pretty good fence sitting. Well, I'll tell you why it feels so good to be the fence sitter. Because if you're a psychological genius, Jimmy Neutron, James Isaac Skibbity Neutron type figure like me, then you get to be a progressive guy who simultaneously believes victims in the first place, but then gets to destroy the false accusers in the end, which is why you get to be both sides of the coin, okay? You get to be the based guy, centrist goat, which is what I am, okay? Let's get racist. The one biggest thing that I want to clear up, it is sexual assault, okay? I'm not going to apologize, say that it isn't sexual assault, that I'm not a sexual assault victim.
Whoa. This is a new Katie. We haven't seen this before. I haven't seen this Katie before ever. Why is she so mad now? Before she was crying, she was upset, she was sad. Now she's
admitted to not asking or getting my consent before he did. He felt up my tits on a couch with other people there. He stuck his hand up my shirt, under my bra, and felt up, fondled, whatever you want to say. He felt up my tits. Unwanted sexual touch is literally in the definition of sexual assault. It's fucking sexual assault, and I'm never gonna apologize for saying it is, okay?
Damn, this girl should be sued. Jesus Christ. Touching your tits? Where was that in the initial allegation? What the f? Don't you think that would have been an important thing to include? I feel like that probably would have been important to include. In this tweet, she says, I worded myself poorly, but my final thoughts nonetheless. Top reply is Nick. You are! Okay. Seriously, though, why was that not in the initial allegation? That he touched your tits. Why would that not be there? To be clear, he did basically have consent. I mean, he was cuddling her for an hour. I'm sorry, but no matter how retarded you are, you cannot blame someone else for getting a signal that they can touch you a little bit if you're cuddling with them for an hour. I'm sorry. Like that is just a basic fact. I'm not cuddling with someone that I'm not gonna unless it's Wendigoon. Sound is cutting. Refresh the stream. Refresh the stream. It's YouTube. It's not my fault. But yeah, like are you gonna be cuddling with someone for an hour that you're not gonna have sex with? Are you gonna do that? Or you don't kind of want to have sex with, or you're not thinking about having sex with, or you're not getting intimate with, right? And I'm not saying play video, stop talking, dude. It's my fucking stream. You know you're getting banned in chat, Rory. You're getting banned in chat. All you cucks in my chat. Play the video, stop talking, dude. Go watch the video on your own. 24-hour timeout. Get Rory, you are fucking owned. It's 1984 in this chat, okay? But realistically, like there's just no reality in which you're cuddling with someone that you aren't planning to be intimate with or thinking about being intimate with or like edging towards that idea. And I'm not saying that means like when you're cuddling a girl, it's okay to go gorilla mode. I'm not saying it's okay to go gorilla mode and start ripping her clothes off and start f***ing her, okay? That's not okay. That's not cool. That's not cool. It should be a slow progression. It should be a slow progression, okay? It should be a slow progression from gorilla mode, okay? It should be a very slow thing. It should be like, oh, you're fondling her, or maybe, okay, actually, we're gonna start at the beginning, okay? We're gonna start at the beginning. We're gonna start at the beginning of the gorilla mode, okay? Because there are circumstances under which you have permission from a female to go gorilla mode on her, okay? And this is genuinely true. She will allow you to ape max inside of her, okay? But you need permission, you need consent, so this is how you do it, okay? You're talking to a girl, things are going well, everything's good. Maybe eventually, you know, a playful poke here or there, okay? If you're really flirting, if you're really getting into it. And if the other party reciprocates, then eventually that will graduate to more progressive touching, okay? I'm a based incel, okay? I shouldn't even know this. I have to read books about it. I don't even know how this happens, okay? I have to read science books about how this happens, okay? But progressively, you start touching each other maybe a little more, and then maybe at one point you're cuddling because you're enjoying each other's warmth, and then maybe at one point you touch her tummy, and then if that's okay with her, maybe at one point you touch her tits, okay? And it's a progressive thing. And this is like, obviously verbal consent is a good thing, but it's not always going to exist. It's just not, it's just not. But by slowly testing someone's boundaries, little by little, by testing each other's boundaries, you can slowly inch towards sex, basically. And that's how it happens, right? And then eventually you can mount her like a silverback. You can insert yourself and you can squirt your goon sauce. I personally am not going to cuddle with a girl where I don't want my goon sauce anywhere near her. I'm just saying. Okay? Like, I'm just saying. It's just not going to happen. Rogue Roger says, of course, now the story changed to him touching her somewhere else when she lost people on her side. Well, that's the thing I'm confused about. Like, if this was implied the entire time, wouldn't she just say it? Now, I will say there are some clips that George posted. Or not George posted. People have taken from George's videos, which seem to indicate that maybe he did actually touch her tits. And we should bring these up. Let me see here. No, I can't find it, of course. Well, basically, it was a clip of George from his video saying something to the effect of like, I saw it touching from there. I'm not going to go much further than that and explaining it in intimate detail. But it seemed to be implying that there was a little more touching than a tummy tickle. But even if that was the case, I don't think that really changes the story for me, to be honest. I just don't think it does, Under the shirt is a little vague. It is vague. And it leaves things open to interpretation, which is never a thing you want to do when you're making an allegation against someone, Like, a lot of people will say, like, under your shirt, of course it meant tits. But it's like, well, there's a lot else under your shirt. Like, your tits are like, here up. There's a lot of tummy in there. You can call yourself out as someone who doesn't appreciate the female tummy all you want, but listen, some of us are men of culture, okay? Wait, what? Are you gay? What about guy tummies? But yeah, realistically, like this should have been talked about in the first place. I don't understand why this wasn't talked about in the first place. What do you think made her go gorilla mode all of a sudden on George out of the blue? Well, I'll tell you what is my theory. So I was thinking it was maybe her friends convincing her entirely, but I don't think that makes sense. So obviously you don't want to take personal agency away from her either, because she made these decisions, right? She made these decisions. But here's the theory. So if you remember in Katie's original response video, she said something to the effect of she had made a joke about Dream at one point on TikTok, and then she saw a bunch of stans harassing her with a profile picture of George, which re-traumatized her from the event. And I'm not sure exactly what was in that TikTok because she doesn't explain it, but I've heard rumblings that this TikTok was something to the effect of making a joke about Dream or other Dream SMP creators being pedophiles, right? And then people who were fans of them were like, that's false allegations, you can't say that, and shit on her. So what I'm thinking maybe is she's recontextualizing these events in her own words here. What I think probably happened is she made this joke, she got on relentlessly for feeding into a false accusation with her joke a little bit, and then she decided to reassess the situation. She determined that she was actually sexually assaulted or whatever, talked to some friends about it, they agreed because they hate George, and that led to what we see today. That's what I would guess. Because there clearly is, like, you can kind of tell from the public view of it. I talked about this with Chud on stream. There's like this kind of like divide between certain groups of Minecraft channels, like Dream doesn't seem to be cool with some of the British guys for whatever reason, and I'm not exactly sure why, but there's like clearly some kind of schism that happened with them. And it seems to me like this new group, what's this guy's name? Max GG? Yeah, so this new group, this is the guy who you guys will probably remember was like crying and being like, she got sexually assaulted. This is the guy, right? And if you check his replies and everything, like it's basically him just replying to like Tubbo, Jack Manifold, and all these like British creators. Here we have Tommy Innit, he's responding to him. Here we have him responding to Tommy Innit again. AimZ, like there's like this little group of people. I don't know if they're called the Brighton group or whatever, but there is this like little group of creators. Is it Brighton? Is that the city in England? England is my city. Well, there's this group of creators, and there clearly is like a schism here. And I would speculate that there's probably behind the scenes drama going on with these people that led to this blowing up in the way it did. Although I don't know exactly what happened. But the interesting thing about this is like from this guy's Twitter, right? Like you see, okay, Max GG whatever. You would expect him to be pretty fucking famous based on like 30,000 likes, 5,000 likes. 4,000 likes, but every tweet he makes is like referencing another creator, right? Like every tweet is like happy birthday, happy Pride Month, Tommy Innit, Tubbo, Quackity, I'm never drinking, like all this shit, right? So you expect him to be pretty popular, right? You'd expect him to be like, I'm not really a streamer, right? Like you'd expect him to be like getting like major stream numbers, right? But that is wrong. That is actually wrong. Well, if you go to Max GG Twitch stats or whatever, so this is his Twitch, I believe, And his peak viewers were 390. His average viewers are 285. Followers gained is 154. Is this his real? Like, this is him, right? Clips. Yeah, this is definitely him. Like, nobody really watches these people. They're just kind of like Twitter people. You know what I mean? And it's a very interesting thing to see. Yeah, this is definitely his Twitch, and like 100,000 followers somehow. Nobody's watching this guy, you know? Like, you'd think based on his Twitter, he'd be a lot more famous, but it seems to me that there's a crowd of creators that are basically failed content creators who have a lot of resentment for Dream, George Not Found, Sapnap, people like that. And they hate the Americans. And as a result, they sort of project their hatred through these reasons, right? Like, they want to have a good reason. So I don't know. There's clearly a lot of weird behind the scenes going on that we just don't know about. And well, maybe we'll hear about it someday. Whatever happened to just deciding to stop talking to someone? Everyone has to demonize and turn the other person into the enemy. I snort asbestos. Base. Thank you, Absolute Dingus. Brighton is a woke cesspool. Wouldn't know anything about that. Unlike some people, my ancestors wisely decided to leave the empire and come to the land of the free, where we can own guns and have lifted trucks and don't have to live under the rule of a gay king, okay? Where's England now? What are they doing now? Eating curry? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but, I mean, America's just based, okay? We eat curry over here, too, and you can own a Glock, so get owned, bitch. Dream is insufferable, so I get it, bro. 70 IQ, he's all right. I mean, I used to hate him a lot more, I'll say that. When are you going to shave that dirty rat stash? Never, dude. You will have to deal with the fact that I'm literally Latino. You're Bulgarian? True, I am Bulgarian, but I'm also not 100% Bulgarian, because my mom is from Bulgaria. My dad is American. I regret to inform you guys that I'm part British, dude. I'm part British. I'm about 25% British. How fucked up is that? It's disturbing. My last name is like fucking British. Can you speak British? Nah, what am I? I speak American, bitch.
Okay? It isn't fake allegations. It's not fake allegations. I'm not a liar. Quite literally, the thing that I was talking about is my sexual assault. And that's the one thing he confirmed. He can sit there.
But he didn't confirm it as the thing. Like, he confirmed some of the events, but the thing that Katie doesn't understand for whatever reason is that, like, what she described is not sexual assault. Maybe her first description, but her follow-up description where she had to bring up the fact that they were cuddling, which she admitted for the entire first statement. This is an evil-looking frame right here. Jesus Christ, this is like demonic. It's like a demonic frame.
And confirmed that he did it. And I'm still sat here, getting called a liar, getting called...
But the thing is, like, he didn't confirm that he sexually assaulted you at all. He confirmed there was an awkward interaction that made you feel bad, but he didn't confirm that there was any kind of fucking sexual assault whatsoever. And the craziest thing here is, like, not to victim blame too much, but part of this is caused by the way Dream and George initially responded, right? Because what they want to do here, okay, is have their cake and eat it too. They want to make the response and simultaneously be really nice, but also call out the lies. And you can't do that. You can't be like, I understand how you feel and I understand that your feelings are valid. You can't say that. Because the whole point of the lies is that her feelings are invalid. And when you say something like that, you give her and all these dumb fucks an opportunity to be like, look, he admitted it. He admitted he her. And that's exactly what they want. You have to just unequivocally deny the allegations and be, you know, you don't have to be the most mean person in the world, but you got to shit on them a little bit. Caitibugzz is someone who deserves to have her career destroyed for the way she handled these allegations. Not that she had much of one to begin with, but definitely. George is a dumbass for trying to be the nice guy. Definitely. I mean, the thing is, the Minecraft community is a little different than our community, okay? You know, they don't really like being based there, okay? They like being nice and lovey-dovey, and then the stands like to harass and dox their favorite creators as well and be crazy parasocially attached to them, which is pretty interesting. But, like, they're not going to take to, like, being mean the same way that, you know, people from our community would. So on one hand, it's kind of understandable, but at the same time, that just gives someone like Caitibugzz more leeway to do this kind of video where she looks extremely mean. And is, once again, acting nuts. She's kind of seeming like she's acting here. She's just so animated for what? Yeah, I don't know, bro.
A fake victim, getting called, what was it? And a prude at the same time.
Bro, who cares, bro?
And quite frankly, it's f***ing ridiculous.
Oh no, some people on the internet were mean to me. They called me mean words. I'm a victim. Bro, do you know how many times I've been told to kill myself on the internet? I genuinely think at this point that, like, and this is, like, going to sound so corny to say, but I genuinely think that if, like, any of these people who cry about shit like this had to walk a day in my shoes, they would probably blow their brains out all over their dad's face. Like, just, you're a YouTuber. Just deal with it, dude. Who cares? People being mean to you, does it really matter that much, dude? You're a content creator. You have, like, a fun, silly job. Like, who cares, dude? Stop pausing and play the video. All right, Rory, you're being banned forever in my chat. Okay, you're being banned indefinitely forever. Hide user on this channel. It's over for you. Goodbye, Rory. Goodbye, loser.
I'm not gonna stand down. Luckily, I'm not scared to say it anymore. That's it. It's sexual assault.
It's not.
He felt up my tits.
It's not sexual assault. You cuddled with him for an hour, expressed no discomfort at the time about what happened, gave nonverbal consent. Yes, you did. You absolutely did. And on top of that, you got up multiple times from cuddling with him to get drinks and keep drinking. You had multiple opportunities to leave, and every time you went right back to cuddling with him and sitting with him on the couch. How crazy is that? It's not sexual assault. I'm sorry. I don't know who convinced you of that. I don't know who told you that behind the scenes, Katie. If that's sexual assault, then basically 70% of sex is 70% of sex is full-on silverback, and it's just not. It's obviously not. Whoever told this girl this is like gonna fuck her out of any good sexual experiences in her entire life, because every time that she's like flirting with a guy and she touches him and he touches her back, she's gonna think she just got fucking raped. It's horrible. People think they can retroactively remove consent. Yeah, it's just like, you regret what happened, Katie. I'm sorry you regret what happened. That sucks, you know? People who are young make silly decisions. Your first sexual experience, semi-sexual experience being cuddling, you know, fucking George not found. Kind of sucks, but you consented to it. You were okay with it. It was your choice. Sucks to suck. You didn't get sexually assaulted. You're rewarded these days for being a victim, never really for having thick skin or growing past something. I mean, it's kind of a black-pilled way to look at it. In the short term, you're absolutely rewarded for being a victim. But in the long term, I can tell you, you're absolutely rewarded for having thick skin or growing past something. Because you actually get to reinterpret situations in the future and act differently, and then you'll be better off and you won't make the same mistakes that all the other are. Because this victim complex that these people have when they weren't actually assaulted, it's good for them short term, but it's never good long term, you know? Like, is this girl like gonna have a happy life after this? No, she's never gonna be a YouTuber. Nobody's gonna trust her because she's a liar. Regret is a powerful thing. So is the power of suggestion. Thank you, Joe Mama, for becoming a member. Shout out Joe Mama, my goat.
This touching that he's talking about, that's what it is, okay? No, I'm not upset that he tickled me. I'm not saying that he assaulted me because he tickled me or because he was close to me. No, I'm upset because I was on a couch, 18 years old, drunk, on a couch with
18 years old, drunk. Here we go again.
Other people in the room, and he sticks up his hand and starts feeling my tits.
Okay. You were cuddling him for an hour. Yes, he stuck up his hand and started feeling your tits. I guess in this story, which is a new update that we hadn't heard before. I don't know why you didn't say that, but I guess this is a new update to the story. Even if that happened, it's shit that he did in front of other people, but it's not sexual assault. And I hate to break it to you, if you go to college parties, people get drunk, they hang out, they cuddle, and sometimes a girl gets her tit grabbed, and she's okay with it. People do weird stuff in front of other people when they're drunk. They do. And once again, this whole like, I was 18 years old, I was drunk. Okay, you were an adult who chose to be drunk. You probably shouldn't have been drinking. You should have stopped drinking. You chose this. Like, this is your choice to be in this situation in the first place. And after that, you just stayed. You stayed in that situation when you could have left at any point in time. You could have expressed discomfort. Tom the type of guy to fart and say it was winds of peace. True. And the thing is, like, it does suck that she had this experience as one of her first sexual experiences. And as we go later on in this, I think she says she's like asexual or whatever, that's a whole other rabbit hole to get into there. But like, I'm sorry, Katie, it's not sexual assault. What you're describing is not. It's just not. And I think you know that based on the fact that you admitted the fact you were cuddling for an hour before it happened, because you knew that clearly showed that you were consenting to everything before that point. Like, it's very obvious why you left that out. There's no other reason to leave that out. I don't know if she's going to address that here. I assume probably not, but she's going demon mode right now. She's on demon time.
That was my f***ing story. No, he didn't ask if I wanted it. But somehow, you know, he had enough energy to ask the question, are you ticklish? Which I responded with no. I'm not f***ing ticklish. And that's what led to him feeling up my tits. He will never understand that feeling when I realized this wasn't just a bunch of people hanging out on a couch together, a bunch of friends hanging out, when it was inherently a sexual thing. And that instead of just a bunch of friends on a couch together, I was being wanted for my body.
It wasn't inherently sexual, though. Like, hanging out on a couch with your friends isn't inherently sexual, but cuddling with someone for an hour is, I mean, it's not inherently sexual, but it's likely to be sexual or interpreted as sexual, right? Like, just because you're cuddling with someone doesn't mean you're going to have sex after or you had sex before, but it probably means that you're sexually interested in that person. I'm not ticklish. That was the greatest allegation of all time. Well, I'm glad we know you're not ticklish, Katie. Okay, that was a big question. I think we all had that question.
No, he would have never felt my uncomfort because he was too busy feeling something else that night.
Jeez, oh, dude, the poetry. He could never feel Like, I did because he was too busy feeling my nipple. Like, bruh, the poetry is crazy.
The amount of miscommunication, misinformation that is spreading is one of the biggest
really don't
reasons
know
I feel like I just
Asexuality.
don't even really have anything to say anymore, because I mean, I was reading my own story on Twitter and I was reading it and I didn't even know it was my story they were talking about until they said my name, because of how skewed everything's gotten.
Why do you think it got skewed, Katie? Why do you think there was so much room for interpretation from your original story? Do you think it's crazy that your initial story and the story you had after George responded were almost completely different? Like, does that not strike you as weird? How can you possibly think it was SA? This has got to be a clout grab. No. I mean, you can say it's a clout grab, but it's honestly hard to tell her intentions at this point. I mean, there is clout to be garnered from it, but I honestly think it's, going to cite a little bit of a clip that I've used in videos before that I find very interesting. Dr. Phil, on an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, which is the greatest scientific podcast in the world, he talked about the phenomenon where oftentimes false accusers are acting out in that way because they feel like they were falsely accused in some other aspect of their life, or they were victimized in some other aspect of their life, and they will then redirect that and justify it in their own mind, knowingly or unknowingly, towards someone else. And my theory is that Katie, because she got, semi-canceled on TikTok and Twitter for making a joke about Dream being a pedophile or something like that, she then redirected that to this new avenue so that she can go after George Not Found as like, well, now I get to take him out, right? For this thing that I at the time was okay with, and I continue talking to him after the fact because I was okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of seems to me like it's, I don't know, not the most straightforward psychological thing going on here. I don't think it's as simple as like she did it for clout, because like there's a lot of factors at play. Because if she had just wanted to do it for clout, she probably would have done it right after it happened, you know? Then again, she did do it right after the Shelby accusation, so there's a case to be made there. But at the same time, it's clear that her opinion on how these things went is informed largely by people she talked to behind the scenes rather than just her own interpretation. So there's a lot going on here, and I don't really know. Lots of possibilities. I don't know. That's what I'll say.
It's like this huge game of telephone where each time it gets a little bit more off, but no one's acknowledging that they could have heard wrong, and they're yelling what they heard as loud as possible. Okay, people saying I'm trying to ruin a man's career because he tickled me, or especially
Well, why do you think people had that impression? Because you never said that he grabbed your tits. You never said that until this point. So, like, people assumed you just meant he touched your stomach. Or are you just changing the story now? Like, which one is it? In one case, you're, like, retarded. In the other, you're a liar. So, I don't know.
He did not me either. Like, it's so important to hear what I'm saying. People getting their info from TikTok comment sections, like, it is insane. I really do encourage everyone to watch my response on it. Like, either read my response on Twitter or watch the original video. I don't care if you can't stand the fact that I'm crying. At least, if you're gonna say something, if you're gonna hate me, that's fine. Watch my full video and then choose to.
Okay, well, I did watch your full video, Katie. I'm pleased to announce I did watch your full video on my stream. I listened to everything you had to say, and I've come away with the conclusion that you are a dumbass. I watched the entire thing. I watched all of George's responses. I watched literally everything about this, okay? Against my own will. I feel like I know so much about the Dream SMP community now, against my will. Do you guys know that they call George Not Found Goggy or Gogi or some gay shit like that? You guys know this? I didn't even know this was a thing. They call him like Gogi or something. You guys know that? What does that even mean? What is Gogi? Like, what is that? Why do I know that? I don't want to know this, but I do because I had to watch all this shit. I'm sorry, Katie. I'm sorry that you weren't sexually assaulted and you think you were. I'm very sorry. That sucks for you. Hope you can move on someday.
Like, it's just, there's a lot. There is something I'm fully owning up to and clearing up right now. The screenshot. My recent response on Twitter, this is the only kind of like response thing I'm gonna give. I will acknowledge that was a complete miscommunication. There's a screenshot I said was from his friend that wasn't there for the assault, mentioned our ages and acknowledged, the situation was weird. It's a real screenshot. What I got wrong and what was miscommunicated was who it was from. It was actually from, instead of the guy who left or wasn't there for the assault, it was from the girl who wasn't there for the assault, which I acknowledge is frustrating that I got that wrong. And I didn't realize I got it wrong until after I posted it a long time after. And obviously when I don't come out and say,
do I believe this? Do I believe I don't know if I believe that. Like, you've got like thousands and thousands of eyes on you. You're in the middle of like the biggest allegation of your life or whatever. Like, you want to get this guy and you somehow f that up. I don't know. It's possible you it up. You don't seem like the smartest person in the world, but it seems kind of crazy to get that one wrong, especially when like the situation pertains to you specifically. Like you're the person in question being talked about, so it seems kind of crazy to me. But you know, maybe that's the case. Maybe she did actually fuck it up. You know, maybe I'm being a silly guy by implying she's lying intentionally. But yeah, even if that is the case, even if she did unintentionally fuck it up, I don't think that really makes her look very good.
Oh, I got that wrong. When he's the one to come out and say she got that wrong, it makes that into the biggest deal. I got a message from the girl.
Can I call you Toggy? If you call me Toggy, something very bad is going to happen to a homeless camp tonight.
Girl that actually sent the text and was like, it was a while after I already posted my response and was like, you kind of mixed up who the text was from, but I'm sure it won't be a...
Did you guys know that when you donate on YouTube, I get your full docs? If you call me Toggy, I'm just saying, something bad might happen. I'm just kidding. They don't send me anything. That would be awesome, though.
Big deal, because it was only one of the minor things you said, and everything else you said in that response was way more important. Which obviously we've seen that was not the case. But I do acknowledge and own up to the fact I completely was wrong about that. But again, I'm saying, even though it wasn't from his friend, it was yet another person in the hotel room that acknowledged the weirdness. Yes, it wasn't from that guy in the hotel room. It was from the girl in the hotel room. Like, I still think the screenshot, it's not a fake screenshot as well. It's a real screenshot. I still think it adds to the fact of, you know, people acknowledged it.
But acknowledging that something is like weird or awkward is not the same as acknowledging that something is sexual assault, right? And I think one of the most telling things about this is, do you guys remember this ghosty person that was talked about? Where there were some DMs leaked from around the same time that this happened, where they were like, it was her and someone else talking about this. And the conversation was basically somebody to the effect of like, oh, well, like Dream messaged her and was like, oh, did anything weird happen that night? Because this guy named, I think Average Harry had publicly tweeted out saying that Dream had like gotten a drunk teenager to his hotel room. And I think Dream messaged this person, and I think the DM was something to the effect of like, oh, well, yeah, nothing really weird that happened that night. It was all good. And it's like, Ghosty was the person who was there with Katie at the time. And the biggest question about that to me is like, why didn't Ghosty mention something about like, you know, this supposed sexual assault if she agrees with her friend, right? And I think the obvious answer is that she didn't think anything weird happened. Nothing weird did really happen. And she just, after the fact, retroactively decided to agree with her friend because Katie's her friend and she wants to support the victims, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, I think that probably that night was, you know, maybe somewhat awkward at worst, but there's just no sexual assault, dude. Thank you, Captain Malash. I appreciate it. Can I keep calling you? You cannot call me that. Thank you, Red, for the 10. Starting a new SMP where we don't invite any sexual predators. Can't wait to see you on there. Well, I guess I can't come then. Soul Spencer, thanks for the 2. Appreciate it. I can fix her base, dude. Good luck. Let me know how that goes.
Also, the fact that I said I was freshly 18, which is something a lot of people are mad about, when in reality, I was 18 and 5 months old. My bad. What I meant to say in that original stream where I said I was freshly 18, I said I was freshly 18 and just out of high school. What I meant to say was I was 18 and freshly out of high school. I just put it in front of the wrong thing, and I do acknowledge that. But once again, I feel like...
But obviously, like, the implication of that is, like, you're too young to be, like, interacting with an adult sexually, right? Which, like, really isn't the case. Like, you're a legal adult, you know? You're 18 years old. Like, do I think it's a good idea necessarily to, like, when you're 26, like, sleep with an 18-year-old or date an 18-year-old? Like, probably not, because 18-year-olds are stupid, man. I'm only 21 and I know that, okay? But, like, the implication, obviously, at this point is pedophilia. And whether you wanted to put freshly before high school or out of high school or before 18 years old, right? Freshly 18 versus freshly out of high school and 18 years old. Like, the obvious implication there is that he's like preying on you and you're like a child, which you're just not. Like, you're an adult. Crazy. It's absolute insanity. And once again, like, this is like to just make it, you know, blow up even more and make it seem crazier.
The idea is still the same, whether it's freshly 18 or freshly out of high school, because I had just graduated a few weeks earlier. The idea is still there. It's still there. And these are the things, I'm sorry.
But I think part of the point from George's perspective also is that, like, which I don't really care about this, but part of the point from him is like he didn't know your age at the time that this happened, right? Like he just didn't. He said he thought you were 21. I don't particularly care if he thought you were 21 versus 18. I don't think it makes that big of a difference to me. But realistically, like, he says he didn't know. Like, that's the whole point, right? And you have yet to have anything solid to, like, refute the idea. I don't think you have anything proving that he knew, in my opinion. And even if you did, once again, you were 18 years old, you were a legal adult. If you were 15, this would be a different story, you know? That would be like, what the f***? Seriously. If you were 15 years old and he knew that, I think his career would end, and deservedly so, but that's just not the case. The way she does those little Pixar movements, yeah, she kind of does look like a Pixar character. She looks like she's from Frozen or some
I do get frustrated with that because people are mad at me saying that I'm a liar because of
They were talking to the DMs. Yeah, they were for months afterward.
These things, instead of acknowledging the fact that he admitted to doing what he did to me. Like,
Yeah, but like what he admitted to is not SA, and that's the point. He admitted to doing what he did to me. What did he do? He cuddled you for an hour. You were perfectly fine with it. He touched your stomach. He touched your tits, according to you, I guess now. Touch your tits. You got up multiple times, got back with him. His dick was pressed against your fucking ass for an hour straight. And you were cool with that. You were cool with it the entire time, apparently. I didn't realize cuddling was an invitation. What the fuck are you talking about? I'll forgive you if you have Down syndrome for thinking that that's the case. Otherwise, shut up.
and we're worried about the fact that I said I was freshly 18 when I meant to say I was freshly out of high school. It's just,
But it's like you made a public allegation. Do you not expect people to pick that apart? Can people not criticize you for how you present a public allegation against one of the biggest Minecraft YouTubers ever? I mean, obviously, this is like something that could be career ruining for him if people think he sexually assaulted someone, right? Especially in the Minecraft community where people are fucking sycophants and are crazy, excited to watch someone get canceled, right? Like, obviously, people are going to scrutinize what you say and pick it apart and want to know the full story. And she's basically upset about the fact that people are just looking into it and curious about what actually went down. That is insane. You can... You can't say that. Do you think she'll make an OnlyFans? Probably not. I don't know why you're asking that, though, freak. She talked about the 21 plus wristband. I think she talked about that in one of the other responses. Actually, I remember specifically she did.
Again, and I shouldn't be getting frustrated, but it's just
What does that sound?
upsetting
We all love
seeing him admit to it, and that not being enough. And for the people saying he was drunk too, so he didn't consent. I didn't fucking feel up his tits. What did he not consent to? I would like to make it clear, there was no reciprocation in any sexual act. The sexual act that happened was not reciprocated.
Jesus, she's angry. Well, to be clear, like, cuddling is kind of a sexual act, right? Is it not? You cuddled him. You both consented to that non-verbally. So based on that, he assumed that you would consent to touching your stomach, which apparently the time you did consent to, and touching your tits, which apparently the time you also consented to. Oh, go tit twist. Jesus Christ. Thanks for the 20, bro. Take it easy. Take it easy.
The only thing he could have not consented to was him putting his own hand on my tits. I didn't touch him after that. I didn't touch him sexually before that. There was nothing for him to consent to sexually. I understand that could be an argument, not for
I
this
still don't understand how touching the tits was never brought up. Like, she had two other responses before this. She had the initial statement. She had the second statement. How was this never explained? Like, she left out the fact they were cuddling for an hour in the first explanation of what happened, I guess, allegation. She left out the fact that he touched her tit. Like, why leave out both of those? Like, especially if you think that including both of those is still sexual assault, right? Like, why wouldn't you say that? I really don't understand. Oh, it's because she lied, right? Okay, now I understand. Now it makes perfect sense. Done, bitch. Jesus Christ, I'm a fucking spurg. I have autism. Oh my God, I'm like jinxing. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God, bro. Weasley little liar, dude. Still lying to her audience.
situation. The hypocrisy that has surrounded this situation is insane. I'll get into
It's
the
insane.
blaming of me.
It's
that
insane.
is insane. But the hypocrisy
She
of
just never mentioned the cuddle thing? Yeah, that's exactly what I said. If we can't cuddle anymore, then what can we do? I don't know how to answer that, to be honest with you. Curly tant. Thank you.
I just can't do anything in this situation. I mean, I came out about it publicly, and I was called an attention-seeking. So then I'm like, fine.
The victim is crazy, bro.
And I privated all my things so I couldn't receive followers, receive clout. You know, I couldn't grow from this. I've privated everything, so I can't gain that. And then I'm told I'm hiding.
The thing is, like, a lot of this is basically just coming from random accounts on Twitter. Like, public discourse is always cancer around these situations. Like, from Katie's perspective, I mean, imagine the shit that George Not Found is being accused of, right? Like, as soon as her allegation came out, a bunch of people called him a rapist. She doesn't seem to be expressing a lot of discontentment about that, you know? People accused him of being a literal silverback. She doesn't seem to really care about that. She doesn't really seem to have a problem. Why? Well, because it's, you know, to her benefit to not have a problem. And ultimately, she doesn't really care. It is worth noting, in this video, at one point, she did say something about the fact that, like, you're getting my story wrong. But it was for the sake of, like, her story, not for the sake of George, because she doesn't really care what happens to him. I think she probably wants his career to end. And as a result, I think her career is basically over. Hopefully, in a few years, she can look back at this and, like, see how dumb she was being. But I don't know if that's going to happen, you know? Maybe in 3 years, we'll get the Turkey Tom interview with Caitibugzz, where she exposes everyone behind the scenes who helped her with this. The way she's crying during the first stream and now she's all of a sudden super mad and defensive just shows she only cares about attention and her image more than the actual allegations. Crazy. I mean, I think her emotions, like, I don't know if she's faking them. Like, I think she thinks they're real, but I just think she's being a silly Billy.
from everything and that I should go public. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I cry on my stream because I'm scared and I'm talking about my assault. I cry, and then I'm told I'm embarrassing, that I'm doing it for attention, that I'm a pick-me, that I'm dramatic. But if I sat there and I didn't cry, I know I would have been called a liar, soulless, heartless, you know, a sociopath. You can't do anything right in these situations, and it's...
But it's just like, dude, okay, you're upset about the fact that like some people on Twitter were shitty to you. Like, I don't know, like you're a public figure, get used to it. And this is part of why I'm hearkening back to this joke that she mentions in the initial allegation, because like she's clearly very affected by like people being mean on TikTok and despite the fact she's like kind of a content creator, wanted to be a content creator, has a lot of content creator friends, like random people pitching into the discourse make her very upset, despite the fact that like the overwhelming response initially was all positive for her, right? Like from that first allegation she made, that stream, overwhelmingly positive response for basically everyone under the sun. And now that things aren't going her way, now it's like, oh, it's a problem. Now the stands are a problem, right?
For people saying take legal action, do you know the odds of winning an assault case? Like, there's a reason. 1 out of 3 girls are assaulted in their lives.
Okay, I mean, the odds of winning an assault, like civil case, are kind of low. But you know, if you like take legal action through the government and it's like a crime, like that you're alleging, and you're not asking for damages, you're asking for like a conviction, the government will do it for you and taxpayers pay for it, right? Like at the time, if you thought something bad happened, you could have easily just filed a case against him. And I mean, in cases like what happened with fucking that 70s show people, right? The thing that was instrumental to putting that guy away, I can't remember his name for the life of me right now. What was instrumental in putting him away was like witness testimony for the most part, because the events were so long ago. Like it is possible, it does happen. Thank you for the 20 gifted memberships, solo stream stuff. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you to all the kindly donos tonight from my friends and family here at the Tom Dark stream. My only question is why Stahl talk to him after this, and if she was assaulted, why wouldn't she avoid him? Great question. Hi, Tommy Wami. I don't understand how neither of them will go to court. I think this will go better convincing a judge instead of Twitter teens. Well, she doesn't want to go to court because she knows she's wrong, in my opinion, and it wouldn't go anywhere. Actually, you know, maybe she doesn't know she's wrong. She probably thinks she's right, but I think she probably knows she lied too. I think she probably just thinks she's lying for the right reason, but I think she would lose. George probably doesn't want to go to court over it because like she's probably broke and like what do you even get out of it? Danny Masterson, yeah, that's the name. Like there's no, like you're not gonna make like a bag off of it, right? Like I guess you could do it on principle, but it's like at that point you're just like wasting thousands and thousands of dollars to sue this like broke girl who called you a sexual assaulter, and at the end it's like, well, you get a court verdict and then nobody cares by the end of it. Like the public discourse is totally over, so it's just usually not worth it to go to court, I would say, most of the time.
Okay, there's a reason so many of them don't come out about this. The system, you would like to believe that it's always for you. The amount of injustice that happens with our system is insane. It's absolutely insane. And you sit here and see someone come out about their story, and your immediate thing is, well, take it up with the law. Like, that will serve any justice.
I mean, okay, the law doesn't always serve justice, but like the point of someone saying that is like, if you're so serious about it, then at least put your money where your mouth is and try to take it to court, right? Like that's the point of saying that. And I think she's basically making a straw man argument here, okay? Making a logical fallacy, okay? Because the point is not that like, oh, you need a conviction. The point is like, at least put your money where your mouth is and show like you're willing to start criminal investigation into someone that you claim committed a crime against you. That's basically the point, right?
So, f you. People, even just the hypocrisy of people not being able to watch my video, me coming out about my assault, but being able to hear it from his mouth. But they don't want to watch mine because I'm too dramatic and because I'm crying too much. But they'll watch his. I think it's insane. The amount.
Who are these people she's describing? Like who the are these people she's talking about? I feel like George's response didn't even get that many views. Like if you go to, hold on, it's on the George Not Found Streams channel, I believe. Yeah, so if we go here, I mean, it's only got 350,000 views, the latest one. The other one is like 400,000. It's not even that many. Like it's not like he like blew her out of the water in terms of views. Like I would expect these to get way more views considering the size of his following and channel. It's like really crazy, you know? It's not like people are giving her a particularly charitable view. Like keep in mind, as soon as she came out, like everybody viewed her very favorably, apart from a few people who were skeptical, right? Like the public at large, YouTubers, streamers, the public sentiment was overwhelmingly positive in favor of Katie. And then once people found out more details, once her story started falling apart, people had issues with her and they stopped supporting her. And that's what happens when you lie and when you have huge inconsistencies in your story, right? Like that's naturally what happens. People find holes. She left the holes there. People didn't have to poke them. She had giant gaping holes. They just had to, you know, reach their hand in and grab the vine and start swinging like a, you know, like an ape from tree to tree, discussing the allegations like we're doing here. She's doubling down because going black makes her look bad, ruins. Oh, why did I say going black? Jesus, my brain is broken. She's doubling down because going back makes her look bad, ruins her prospective career. Jesus. Honestly, the weird crying and the poetry and the allegation gave it away from the beginning. I mean, you can say that, and I definitely had the heebie-jeebies of that initial allegation video, but I wanted to wait, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to wait. Because you just want to know what the other side is, you know? Just because someone's being dramatic doesn't mean they're lying, or, you know, not telling the truth, or, which is what lying means, Jesus Christ, I'm fucking but yeah, like just because somebody's being dramatic or whatever doesn't mean that they're not telling the truth, okay? It doesn't. And that's why I wanted to wait. But now, in hindsight, we can see that the being dramatic ties into a lot of other things that we can, you know, draw conclusions on, like the fake screenshot or lying by omission about the cuddling thing before, or her explanations after about the 21 wristband or stuff like that, right? Like it all kind of just becomes a web that you can weave together, I would say. That's basically the way to look at it, in my opinion. Do you cuddle with Wendy Spoon? No comment. No comment. Will I go silverback mode when you can go septum mode? Well, going silverback on a septum is highly rated by Roger Ebert.
The amount of people telling me how I felt that night. The amount of people telling me how I felt. Or the amount of people believing from his mouth how I felt. Instead of just hearing me say how I felt. It's insane.
But the thing is, like, your word is not trusted at this point. Like, you have a problem with the way that people interpret your story, and like people not trusting your intentions and listening to George's over years. But like, your story had a bunch of holes in it, and like fuck-ups and like lies, I would say. Clearly lies. So obviously people aren't inclined to believe your intentions and are going to speculate about them and probably trust the guy who had more receipts and screenshots and had a more consistent story than you. Like that's obvious. That's obviously going to happen. I've been streaming for an hour and 17 minutes. We're only 16 minutes into this hour-long VOD, dude. My life is over.
Insane. And the fact that if I have inconsistencies in my story, which I do, and I'm not gonna say I don't, I'm like remembering the night of my assault, and I'm sorry, but the thing that I really remembered is the assault. I didn't remember, you know, like if a person who wasn't there for the assault left at a certain time. I remembered my assault. I will acknowledge that there are inconsistencies. But when I have inconsistencies in my story and I address them and I acknowledge it, my whole story's out. It's in the trash, and I'm seen as a liar for inconsistencies. But when he has an inconsistency, or when, you know, even the 21 wristband thing saying I had a band that's...
Well, the thing is, like, you made the allegation in the first place, so the burden of proof is on you. The burden of proof on him is to disprove your allegation. The burden of proof on you is to prove that allegation, which you've been unable to do. Does that make sense?
Said I was, you know, when he
Her
has
chat
an
is cringe.
inconsistency...
Well, I think she bans everyone who is not overly nice to her, which is why the entire chat, if you guys see here, is literally just all spamming hearts the entire time, just like cancer. Like, if my chat was just hearts the entire time and had nobody saying anything about me, I would be very upset. But I think she might have even banned text or something in the chat, because literally every message is just a bunch of emojis and nobody actually saying anything. So it's pretty crazy. The problem with all this is not even that she lied. It's important to be clear, even as described, it was not assault. I mean, the problem is definitely that she lied. You guys are doing it now? Jesus, ooh, that's dark. That's dark. Chat, that's fucking dark. Okay, not with the hearts. Okay, can we at least, like, can we do, like, ape emojis, please? Like, can we replace the ape with a heart if you want to express your love for me? Dude, there's so many. Stop. Stop. I don't understand why she's smiling. It feels like she's acting as giving Bella from Twilight. Dude, wait, whoa, she is like Bella from Twilight. Holy shit. She's saying people just believing what his word, but has tons of evidence she doesn't. Yeah, of course he does. And that's why she's upset. Caitibugzz, you know, great people, but a little wrong on the whole allegation thing. Allegation, she says. Don't know about that one. Kind of crazy, no? When you're famous, they let you do it.
And I prove it wrong, have video footage of it. It's still used against me to this day. His inconsistencies are taken as the holy grail and as the truth, even when proved wrong. And when
he definitely did seemingly up the wristband thing, but like I think a large part of the importance here is like the totality of it. Like George had one inconsistency and like immediately acknowledged it. You've had like 5, and on top of that, the initial story you described was not sexual assault. So it's just like, I don't know. Or at least, sorry, the new initial story after he brought up the fact you were cuddling for an hour. And now we've escalated even more, by the way, with the third response. Now it was he grabbed my tits, which for some reason didn't come up before. Somehow.
I have an inconsistency. My whole
I just want to be your Sigma.
The way I've been treated is fucking insane. And I'm not afraid to say it's fucking insane. Because I do acknowledge I have inconsistencies, you know. But it is. Anyways. And I also understand the idea that we have different point of views. Obviously, we're going to have different point of views of that night. Otherwise, what happened wouldn't have happened.
Maybe she put her chat in emote only once people can't call her out. Yeah, I would say that's true. She doesn't want to have to read people calling her
I don't understand believing the one point of view over the other. And again, even the fact that we have different point of views, the one thing we agree on, is the fact that he touched me and didn't ask if I was okay with it. That's what I came out about, and that's what he agreed with. I mean,
I think it's wild that she can say the only reason there's inconsistencies is because she only remembers the assault, but then she doesn't even remember he touched her boobs until like the third video. That's an excellent point. Tyre Willis, like what the f is that? Like the only thing I remember is the assault. In the first recollection of that, apparently you didn't talk about the fact you were cuddling for an hour before, and now in the third video, we're finally learning that he apparently was doing some nipple pinching or some shit. Like what the f is going on? You know, why had that not been brought up? Is this not crazy, absolutely absurd and insane? Imagine how much differently this could have gone for you, Caitibugzz, if the first time you brought it out, you had all the cards on the table. Or did those cards not exist in your mind yet because you hadn't decided how you were going to lie about this and spin it later on? That's a big question. But she was freshly 18. I know, dude. She was freshly 18.
It's
disgusting.
I don't know.
Disgusting as disgusting,
again,
laddie.
The fact of him saying
she's a child, laddie. She's a fucking child in it. You sick fuck. She was 18 in 121 days. You fucking pedophile. You fucking nonce. You're fucking disgusting disgrace to the McGregor legacy. You'll never be a fucking boxer, will ya? George Not Found will never box at the Premier League fucking boxing championship. The idea of her not taking time to making video to present her case in a more professional way is dunce move. Yeah. Can somebody give her a dunce cap? You're so skibbity.
Like, I'm talking about my assault. I'm not gonna paint it in a rainbows and sunshine light. Him saying I used...
Yeah, but you painted it in a very vague light where nobody understood what the assault was.
Word choices that painted him bad. But then he says stuff like, oh, we cuddled before. Cuddling can be taken, and I watched it be taken and ran with. He says we cuddled, and people are like, you can't get mad at what he did to you because you were lying on top of him and all up on him before it happened. I wasn't. We were on a couch, sitting up. We were all on a couch. Everything and anything you could consider cuddling, I saw that as a friendly, like, drunk, what you do with your friends. I was doing it with my best friend.
How do you cuddle sitting up? Wait, I'm actually super confused because isn't cuddling like spooning? Isn't that just taken for granted? Wait, how do you cuddle sitting up? Was she sitting on his lap? Was she bouncing? Was she babbing on that? You know what I'm saying? Like what does that mean? How do you cuddle when you're not laying down? On the lap? Well, that's even more inherently sexual in my view. Like someone cuddling you from the side versus sitting on your dick? Or is that not what the cuddling was? I guess we'll let her explain a little more, but it's all just it's a friendly cuddle. Like, yeah, I guess I would friendly cuddle with my female friend if I plan on sticking my dick down her throat later on. If she was cool with it. Like, Jesus. I don't know. That sounds kind of skibbity to me. I don't think so. Meant lap, arm over shoulder. So was it just like she was next to him and it was this? Like, is that cuddling, or was she like laying against him and he, like, I just don't understand. This changes everything.
That was right next to me as well, you know? And again, I believed any touches were more initiated by him.
Friendly, I thought she barely knew him. Yeah, well, it changes a lot, as you can see.
Again, that's just hearsay. Again, but just using words like that, you could consider cuddling. I saw that as a friendly, like, drunk, what you do with your friends. I was doing it with my best friend that was right next to me as well, you know? And again, I believed
Was that best friend also a guy? Was she cuddling with every guy there? Or was the best friend Ghosty, the girl? In which case, it's probably different unless she's bisexual, but most guys would probably take you cuddling with a girl versus cuddling with a guy very differently. She threw it back, Mama Gorilla mode. Base, dude. When Mama Gorilla throw it back on a guy on Phonum Grave, based.
Any touches were more initiated by him, but again, that's just hearsay. Again, but just using words like that, it can be taken and ran with. It wasn't anything sexual, and I believe it was pretty tame. Believe that it was an invitation for anything sexual or that it would lead to anything. But just using words like that, it can be taken and ran with. It wasn't anything sexual, and I believe it was pretty tame.
Can she specifically talk about what the cuddling was in that case? Like, was she bouncing on it? Was she babbing on it? Like, what exactly was happening here? You think if you just randomly started playing with her boobs in the middle of a party, someone would say something positive or negative about it? Well, that's what you would think. Like, at the time, wouldn't everyone at the party be like, whoa, George, hey, why are you grabbing a titty, bro? What's going on, big guy? Unless Katie's friends are okay with her being sexually assaulted, which seems to almost be the thing they're incriminating themselves with here. It sounds very weird. That's very strange.
I didn't, again, believe that it was an invitation for anything sexual or that it would lead...
Well, you're just dumb then. If that's your genuine opinion, then you're just dumb. If you're cuddling with one guy, should you expect him to once again rip your clothes off and go nuts? No. But you can probably expect him to, like, touch your leg or touch your thigh or, like, touch your tummy. And if you're okay with that and you express that that's okay, non-verbally, which can happen, maybe he moves to your breasts.
to anything sexual, especially it being in front of a bunch of people. For the people saying I'm
Don't forget she was a virgin at the time. Yeah, I mean, maybe part of her regret over that is just that her first like cuddling experience with a guy was when she regretted. I'm going silverback bass, dude. She built like the Horton Hears a Who kid. That's bass though.
Attention seeker. I think genuinely when people come out about these kind of things, is insane that people believe that. Anyone who has genuinely came out about a true story that has happened to them, they know that this attention is the worst attention you could possibly ever get. I've lost the love for something that I've spent so long on because of all of this. You know, it is...
Why? Why'd you stop liking Minecraft? I just don't understand. Like why? Genuinely, why? You can play. You realize you can play Minecraft without George Not Found, right?
Everything that I've worked for since I was 16 on this account, you know, under this name, everything that I've worked for is overshadowed by this. When you look up my name, this is what it is. I'm fucking defined by this now.
Well, why do you think that is?
You know, and there's no coming back from that. Why would I want that? And it's my trauma and what I've been through has become drama and clickbait and just another discussion topic to argue with each other on Twitter. Why would I want any of this? I will tell you guys why I came out about it.
Is she talking about me or something? She's talking about Nicholas Diorio, Chud Logic, all the people talking about this. Like, isn't this what you wanted? You wanted it to become a public discussion, no? Isn't that why you came out about it? Like, what other reason would there be? Surely you wanted people to talk about it. Maybe you just don't like the way they talk about it now that you're, you know, being a silly Billy. But certainly you wanted someone at least to acknowledge this and talk about it. That seems realistic, no? You can't just have if you make a public accusation as a public figure, you can't be surprised when people take it seriously and talk about it. If anything, it would show irresponsibility on my part and the part of other creators to not scrutinize it and question it. Because then anybody could get away with any allegation, just say whatever they wanted, you know? It has to be talked about, it has to be discussed, it has to be picked apart, positively or negatively. There have been a lot of cases where creators have been outed as genuinely horrible, predatory people, and they get what they deserve because it's clear. But in this case, like, it's just the evidence is not there. It's not up to snuff, and the accuser is an unreliable narrator. So obviously, people are gonna have a problem with that.
This is not the attention anyone would want. And if someone does want attention like this, they're insane. This isn't me undermining any of the support I've gotten. I love you guys, and I love the people that have shown me.
This is like the thing. Like, I like the people who agree with me. People who disagree with me, you're bad. You're bad. You're bad. Like, you don't. Once it, I feel like I have to say this phrase a lot. The "have your cake and eat it too" thing. Like, you just can't. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, you have to expect some level of criticism. If your story was like 100% perfect, there's nothing wrong with it. If you were a reliable narrator, no, like the people criticizing you would be so minuscule, it wouldn't even matter because it would just be so out in the open, out in the open, dead to rights. Right. There's a reason why Shelby Shovel didn't get nearly as much as you're getting right now. It's not because she had a great amount of evidence. It's because Wilbur's response was like so nothing. But George had a lot to say. He had a lot to back it up. Your story doesn't make sense. She's a woman. She's by default not responsible for a single thing she does and says. I mean, that's definitely an aspect of it. You know, the sort of the opposite end of the all women are liars crowd, the believe all women crowd. The BPD makes it worse. I don't know if she has BPD. I don't want to put that on her. She may not. But septum piercing doesn't help with the allegation, but you never know. Not all women with BPD are evil. I will say that. Most of the time they seemingly can't help themselves. Jesus.
Support. I'll never be able to thank you guys enough. Even the good support that I've gotten in this situation. You know, the people that are strictly, before I privated, following me just because of this. It's not even the kind of following that I want, you know? People following me because I'm a victim. People following me because of this situation. It just further defines me, you know? Of course, I love the support, and that isn't me not acknowledging how grateful I am. But again, obviously the bad attention's bad, but even the good attention, it's not even what I would want. I've always wanted, you know, to connect with more people.
If I lost my ex had BPD and she was evil, well, I'll just say that's not all of them. Some of them can be cool. Usually, though, they need therapy and they need to be medicated heavily and they need a lot of help. If they're undiagnosed or they're undertreated, they can be a nightmare.
And to, you know, my content to be known more, but I don't want it to become more well-known because I was assaulted. And I hope you guys can also understand that. So both sides of the attention I'm getting, it's just, again, it's nothing I would ever want. And again, why would I come out about this? For more clout? I don't want to do content. What am I going to do with the clout? I don't know what my future holds.
I mean, I don't think it's as much clout on your side as it is just wanting to with this guy's career and mess with him, right? And even his friends are being messed with now, you know, like Dream. Like, I think there's multiple kinds of clout. There's like self-enriching clout, and then there's also like destructive clout that you get from just causing a her, and it's clear that you wanted something to happen to George, right? Based on the fact that you were saying in your original statement, like, I'm 21, I can't imagine how I'll be at 26. Who you are at 26 is disgusting. I can't imagine being the person that you are, and you'll forever live knowing that you did this to me.
But I don't want a career in content.
I seriously can't believe it went this far. For what? Yeah. Imagine if, like, she had just messaged him and talked about what happened, right? Imagine how much better it could be. Imagine how much better it could be. No BPD here, just someone who can't take an L. Yeah, I mean, the thing with the BPD argument is, like, it could be true, it could not be true, but ultimately it's probably better to go off of what we do know about the situation and talk about that, you know? BPD or not, it doesn't really matter. What she did is what she did, right? Someone's mental illness is not really to blame necessarily for this. It can factor into it, but, like, at the end of the day, her actions are more important than her intentions, I think. And that's the case for everyone.
Again, I want to talk about the good response. I really appreciate everybody that has reached out. It's such a double-edged, you know, because as much as I'm glad so many people are connecting with me and, you know, feeling better about themselves, it hurts seeing how many people can relate. It hurts hearing the stories people are coming out with. It's great, and I love the response that people feel safe to come out about their stories. It hurts how many there are, and it just further, you know, it further sets in my mind that I would do this again, no matter how many names I'm called, even if I have to disappear from the internet. I would do it all again.
You're so
seeing how many people it has helped, and
thank God
the space that it's created for
You're doing the right thing,
other
dude.
content creators.
Thank God Caitibugzz came out about the fact that she cuddled with a guy for an hour and then got her tummy touched, and then the story changed and now she got her tit touched, I guess, right? Thank God. Dude, she's so brave. Can we get some strong, independent women in chat right now, please, for Caitibugzz? Because she is a strong, independent woman, and she deserves to be recognized as that. She's a martyr, okay? She's a martyr. She's going down with a ship. It's noble. Give her some love, guys. Give her some love. She's doing the right thing. She's suffering at the hands of the internet hate train or something.
To come out about their stories. I mean, even DMs I've gotten, people who aren't ready to come out publicly, but from bigger content creators, bigger than me, smaller than me, and you guys sending me letters, sending me messages. Again, it breaks my heart knowing you guys have went through that, but it also is like, you know, I want to create this space that people feel safe to talk about that.
She should just buy Fent and be happy. I don't endorse Fent. However, I will be opening Fentanyl Fitness very soon, my own home gym. Anyone can visit and hit that Fent card, okay? In Minecraft.
Ad response has been a lot. Even the fact of reporters messaging me asking for my take on it all, or my comment on it. Actually, choke. Are you joking?
What?
It's insane. I mean,
why are you're upset about the fact people want your side and are trying to talk to you? Don't turn on slow mode. I don't turn slow mode off, mod. If that's you, Smaggle Daggle, turn it off. I don't care about slow mode. People can type as fast as they want. I'm literally gay. I'm gooning off the parasocial interaction. Why are you mad that a reporter questioned you for comment? Isn't that what you want? Don't you want your side to be heard? Choke? Don't you want, like, mainstream media outlets to talk about this? Ultimately, if your intentions are in the right place, wouldn't you want the most amount of people to hear your story possible and talk about it? And, like, if you think George is like a predator and gonna do this to other people, don't you think that should be talked about? Why would you have a problem with a reporter asking you about your side? What is wrong with that? Strong, independent, freshly 18-year-old woman, dude. So true. As a woman SA survivor, it sucks that people feel the need to lie about something serious like this for attention. Now that she has attention, she doesn't want the right people questioning her wrong actions. Dude, like, listen, don't get me wrong, I hate journalists, okay? And I think I have my reasons. I don't really like journalists that much when they come from major publications. I wouldn't feel bad if most people writing for these publications were homeless, which it looks like they will be because nobody fucking reads them. But at the same time, like, you can't necessarily be mad about them reaching out for comment. It's not like these reporters are going to do a hit piece on you. Like, if anything, all these publications, I would imagine it's like Kotaku, Dixerdo, relatively left-leaning publications who support allegations, like, they would want to support you if anything. They want to make you look like the strong, independent, based martyr you are, right? So why would this be such a problem to you? I don't really understand.
The position I'm in right now, watching thousands of people comment on your sexual assault story, people fight each other over it.
Oh no, I made a public allegation about a famous person and I wanted people to talk about it. Now they're talking about it. That sucks. Boo fucking who? Holy shit. Who cares, dude? Who actually cares? Who cares? Who cares? Literally, who cares? Who cares? Womp womp.
As a talking point on a YouTube video or a podcast, you know, it being made into...
Do you think her tickle monster allegations will make people take future allegations less seriously? Absolutely, and that probably sucks for any real victims in the Minecraft community. Yeah, this is the problem with allegations like this, like, that aren't actually sexual assault. They ultimately lead people in the future to not like it. And then ultimately, it also can create a market where people are looking for, you know, false sexual assault stories to report on. And then real victims can be discredited. I mean, it's clear, right? It's clear that that happens based on the fact that, I mean, on one hand, my degenerates videos are very popular. The losers, creeps, pedos videos, because people like to see real degenerates or whatever being exposed and talked about and whatever. But on the other hand, I've got 4,500 viewers on the stream who love to see a false accuser get annihilated. It creates both sides, and it can become an extremely toxic thing, you know, especially in the hands of the wrong person. You know, it affects people's judgment. It affects the public's judgment. It can create incentive for certain creators to claim that certain girls are lying when they're not, or without proof, claim that they're lying, right? And this is a major problem, obviously. And I'm not going to claim that I'm like, you know, libased, believe all women guy, but like to any genuine victims of sexual assault who are watching this stuff, it's obviously going to hurt a lot, right? Extremely hurtful to see stuff like this for them.
Watching my experience that means so much to me get dumbed down and simplified in just a few words or in a few sentences, so it's more digestible and more consumable for people. It's insane.
Is this like the fucking sorry that happened, or sorry for you not reading that? The fact you've had to stop multiple times to explain how sexual romantic encounters happen makes you truly sad this generation. I'm only 30. Well, here's the blue pill is that it's not everyone, okay? The blue pill is that it's not everyone. This is a hyper community of people on the internet who believe that, you know, whatever happened with Katie is sexual assault, which is just based on even what she said at this point. It's just not right. You know, you can say that it's infuriating, but I mean, we've got 5,000 people in this chat who, I'm not going to say everyone in this chat is a genius, right? But, you know, a decent amount of people seem to understand what I'm saying, seem to understand the basic dynamics of like romance and sex and, you know, consent and nonverbal consent. Like people seem to understand that. So it's not all over, you know. These are large forces you're working towards. It can feel somewhat blackpilling, fighting the insurmountable wave of shit. But realistically, it's not over, you know? It's not over. It's never over. Look at the Slaslo situation. Look at the Quiet situation. Look at the way that those people responded to false allegations successfully and managed to, you know, bring their careers back. Really. Stuff like that should give you hope for the fact that, you know, these situations aren't unsavable. It's just tough. It's difficult. You got to do your research. You got to look into this. But it's very doable. And by doing that, you can inform audiences of how they should, you know, interpret these events. I would hate for my coverage of this situation to now cause some of you guys to not believe real victims right off the bat, or at least, you know, take their allegations seriously. I think the important thing is to just take everything with a grain of salt, take it with caution, right? If there's no proof, be wary, be careful. It doesn't mean they're lying, but you have to be wary and be careful of it. And, you know, wait for the other side. That's all, really. That's really it.
I will be talking about
You're sitting like L from Death Note.
I don't have much to say. To me, it's very clear what's going on, but I know it may not be for a lot of people. Because I'm now cleared from the fog of believing. He deleted the apology on Twitter, so that's not what I'm talking about. That was deleted. Now there's just, again, the 2 videos that have been made, which I don't even know where to start. I mean, and I could have even understood if it would have been I know we have different perspectives of the night, and I know I assumed stuff that I shouldn't have, but I'm still sorry for hurting you, period. But anytime, again, he readmits to the fact that he touched me without consent, it's followed with a but. It's followed with a, yes, I touched you. Yes, I didn't ask if it was okay. But you were smiling. But
literally nobody has said that ever. Literally not in his video at all did he say, she was smiling, so I got to stick it. Like, that's not something anyone said. I didn't say that. If anyone said that they're retarded, then they should be called out and criticized for that opinion, because that's so dumb. This face is crazy, but I've probably made crazier faces in all honesty. George did a finger dance on my kneecaps at TwitchCon 1933. Stop taking his side, bro. He's the top 1 tickler. I heard that George Not Found was the #1 funder from America, #1 entertainment funder of a very controversial political party from Germany. I think they're called the National Socialists or something to that extent. I don't know much about these allegations, but I think we should look into that. You know, it's very curious that George Not Found seems to have found himself in a Hyperborea among the Ubermensch. It's very strange. Like, what is going on there? Can we talk about like what's going on there, huh? Also, why is George Not Found 128 years old, and why was he friends with Zadolf Zitler? What's going on there? I'm very curious. Like, I don't. Why didn't Katie talk about that? This is the real allegations I care about, okay? I believe the Allied forces called him the tickle monster for the way he would tickle Jews before sending them to their death. It's very strange. All right, I'm gonna stop with a bit. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking... Sorry, my bad. All right, we're gonna keep watching, my bad.
You seemed like you would have wanted it, but I assumed you wanted it because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the butt.
Bisexual guys, when they're done dudes.
I'm sick of the butt. I'm just so sick of it. And not even just that, it's then put into this video where the entire video is picking apart my story once again, picking apart every single thing I said, and once again focusing on things that are irrelevant to the fact that you touched me.
Jesus, she's so schizo. She's so mad. She's so angry. What do you mean picking apart the story? Yeah, when somebody's accused of something and they think they're innocent, they're obviously going to pick apart the story. Is that not normal? And on top of that, okay, just to add fuel to the fire, there are ways to give consent beyond, can I touch you? Yeah, you can. Like there are ways to express consent beyond that. Obviously. The number one way consent is expressed is not, can I please touch your boobie after I blow your back out when we watch Captain Marvel? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go see Dune 2, and then I'm gonna blow your back out. If you consent with this piece of paperwork, like, that's just not how consent works. Sometimes it does, but generally that's not how it works. Tom's the real tickle monster. Wake up. Dude, I do be tickling, okay? Listen, tickling a girl that likes you and is cool with it is lots of good fun, okay? I will say that. Ugh. Except when you try to tickle a girl and she's not ticklish at all. And the reason why someone is not ticklish is because they're being touched a lot and often, so their tickle reflex is gone. So you should take that into account. If you tickle a girl and she doesn't laugh at all, it's just your turn. If I make an Adolf Tickler and Silverback chat emotes, will you use them? Maybe if you email them to me.
I mean, being like, whoa, she said my friend left early, but really he left late. What the f does that have to do with you touching me and not asking first?
I mean, everything. The circumstances around it and their reactions have everything to do with that. Obviously, it's a full story.
And not even just that, it's then put into this video where the entire video is picking apart my story once again, picking apart every single thing I said, and once again focusing on things that are irrelevant to the fact that you touched me. I mean, being like, whoa, she said my friend left early, but really he left late. What the f does that have to do with you touching me and not asking first?
Well, it's because your story is very inconsistent, right? And obviously, like, that friend's opinion being weighed in would obviously help. Like, the point of him bringing that up was to talk about how that friend had a different side of the story than you had, right? And said that nothing weird seemed to have happened, and he didn't think anything weird happened, right? So obviously that's going to be brought up. Oh no, my grippers are out. My big, sweaty, dirty feet. I hope George doesn't find me. Hope he doesn't tickle my toes with a pelican feather. Oh no, dude, true. If George not found tickled me, I would be honored. I would feel lucky.
Your friend wasn't there when it happened. Oh, this is all the stuff she left out. She left this out because she can't be trusted and is leaving important info out. I left out the two people that were in that room that weren't there for my—
You left out that you were f***ing cuddling, you dumb bitch. That changes everything. Why do you think you left that out? You said you were sitting next to him on the couch, and all of a sudden you felt his hand on you. Don't you think that would change the f***ing story a little bit if we found out that you were cuddling for an hour? This can't just be genuine. This can't be genuine stupidity. She's just lying. There's no way, dude. There's literally no way. Because obviously the fact that you were cuddling for an hour clued into the fact that you consented, Katie, didn't it? Didn't that cross your mind when you were telling a story? Yeah, of course it did, because you left it out on purpose. Jesus Christ. Think you spy, man. Can people stop acting like 18-year-olds are innocent children without agency or something? Also, the sex life of MC YouTubers is something I'm tired of hearing about. Yeah, I mean, in this case, you didn't even Jesus. We're up all night to get lucky. The fancy cars, the women, and the caviar, you know who we are, because we're tickling all over the world. Base, dude.
Assault. I was talking about my assault. They weren't there for it. Why would I? He's put in this position, right? To pick out every inconsistency and especially pick out any information I didn't mention and to put it on a silver platter and be like, here's everything that she was kind of wrong about and here's everything she left out. So
here's everything she was absolutely wrong about. Here's the screenshot she said came from someone else when it actually came from someone that I know and I can talk to. And at the same time, well, I may have left out the cuddling thing. I mean, like, you know, maybe I left it out. Was that big of a deal? Like honestly, like, it doesn't change anything. Like, it doesn't change anything about it. And like, you know, obviously I didn't say that he touched my breast before because, like, you know, I was poorly wording it. But now that I'm talking about it, like, everybody should realize, like, a sexual assault. Like, he admitted it. He said he felt sorry for the way I felt. So, like, obviously you guys should just end his career. I'm getting genuinely tilted at this.
You can't be trusted. And because I'm the one pointing it out, you can trust me. Because I'm the one putting it out there for you, you can trust me.
The burden of evidence is on you. When you fail to provide evidence and your story is shaky and inconsistent and you lie about things, obviously people question your reliability as a narrator. Like, that's normal. We do this on a basic human level with everyone. If somebody tells you, oh, I'm super rich, I have all this cool shit, I have a nice car, and then you go to dinner and they can't pay for it and you have to pay the bill, which happened to me, like, what the do you expect, dude? You're not going to trust that person anymore. Thank you, Airsoft and Code. Ticker Times Tickle Hour 2024. Dude, I be tickling. I'm going to tickle all of you. All you guys, when we do a fan meetup, I'm going to tickle all of you, okay? You're all going to get tickled and you're going to like it and you're going to want it.
He's put in this position. And again, he says...
Was it destiny? No. As funny as it would be to say that, he actually offered to pay for every dinner we went to.
He says stuff like, he conveniently didn't acknowledge my age, despite the numerous, opportunities. He conveniently didn't acknowledge the power imbalance. He conveniently doesn't remember these things.
Power imbalance, bro. He literally, first of all, talked about that in the response. But secondly, like, what power imbalance did he have over you? Did you work for him? No. Were you his employee in any way? No. Did he have any power over your career? Well, no. What is the power imbalance? That he was older than you? Does him being older than you prevent you from leaving the hotel room? Is that what made you stay cuddling him after the event apparently happened? Because you didn't want to embarrass him? Do you have no agency? Curly Chan says she's a typical mid-suburban rich kid who's never been told no or held accountable in her life. Her attitude of just trust me, bro, is evidence of that. Yeah, this is probably the first time she's been told no, unfortunately. It's a hard lesson to learn, my friend.
I mean, and then he says stuff like, well, I'm a good guy. Obviously, he's gonna say that. You think that if he genuinely is the person to kind of be like this, that he would go on an edited video and be like, yeah, I'm a bad guy. Yeah, I purposefully...
I mean, sometimes people do that if they feel bad. Like, if they think they did something wrong. And also, like, if he did say that, but there was, like, enough evidence to convict in the public court of opinion, like, people would just own him. He would get owned. You know how desperate people are to call someone a sexual assaulter? You know the views I would get if George Not Found did genuinely do everything Katie, claimed he did and more? Oh my God, dude. Although Sub's recent, seems like she was plenty big as a creator already before meeting him, so power imbalance doesn't really make sense. But, like, once again, like, it doesn't, like... If you're a famous person, can you not, like, kiss someone who's, like, has, like, less subscribers than you? Like, who can George Not Found even date? Or does it have to be 26-year-olds who have 10 million subscribers on YouTube? How many people like that exist? How realistic is that? Her swearing is low-key cringe. Yeah, it sounds like her first time swearing.
Oh, yeah, I knew her age? He's not gonna say that. He has a career to protect. He's gonna say whatever the he needs to. He has so much at stake. I have nothing left. Like, it's obvious to me the kind of people that these people are. I mean, he'll admit, he can get on a video and sit there and admit to touching me without consent, and then he can bury it.
But, like, that's not what he did, though. It wasn't without consent. And this is the thing she doesn't seem to understand. Like, there was consent given at the time. There was clearly consent given at the time. You just don't like the fact that you consented, and I guess you regret it after. Like, it's such a cringe thing to even say out loud, because it, like, almost never happens, right? Like, this idea that, like, every time a girl makes an accusation, it's like, oh, she just regretted it. Like, that's usually not the case. That's usually not the case, but in this case, it is. The director cut of the Destiny documentary is fire. Thanks for sending it to me. The 10-minute nude tickle session was a little long, though. Well, I'm sorry you didn't like that, but there will be more where that came from on the OnlyFans.
He brings up all these screenshots, all these different details that are irrelevant in the night. He brings this up on purpose, so that's what you guys talk about. He brings up, oh, well, these are
okay, lol.
Texts from Dream and Ghosty. Why do I care about text between Dream and Ghosty when I'm talking
about... the reason that the text matter, once again, she completely obfuscates the truth around this. The context of the conversation around Dream and Ghosty was, I believe, Average Harry tweeted out something to the effect of, like, I don't even know much about that guy, by the way. Who the is Average Harry? You guys tell me who Average Harry is? Oh, so another Twitter loser who nobody cares about and only gets views when he hangs out with famous friends. Well, she's trying to sound like she's in a damn movie. Well, she's a very dramatic person. I think we can accept that at this point. This guy tweeted out saying something to the effect of, like, Dream is disgusting and brings drunk teenagers to his hotel room. He's a fucking freak, predator, gross, right? He tweets something like that. So Dream messages him to question about it. Dream messages Ghosty, and Ghosty's like, oh, nothing weird happened that night. Nope. Keep in mind, Ghosty is like this girl's best friend. Don't you think that it would come up in conversation, Katie, that something weird happened with Dream's friend? Don't you think that would come up from a person who was apparently there? And, like, once again, you also pulled other people's testimony in to talk about it. Like, that's a normal part of what you would do in this situation. Like, oh, you don't want to take me at my word? Here's what this person said. Here's what this person said. And you did the same thing. Everybody pulls receipts. That's normal. That's not obfuscating the truth. If anything, that's adding to it. Call me cynical, but at this point, even if he did ask for consent to touch her and she approved of it, she'd probably still label it assault. Yeah, of course she would. If he had asked at the time, she would have said yes. Victim mentality is the most annoying thing to sit through and listen to. It's extremely frustrating, dude. My brain is rotting right now. I'm discomforted.
He brings up these texts and he brings up this irrelevant stuff to distract you guys.
It's not irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Why the in the conversation about what happened that night, and if anything wrong happened, why would that not come up from your friend who was apparently there? Why would she not express discomfort to Dream? Hey, did anything bad happen? Nope, nothing happened that night. Now it's like, oh, well, I didn't say because it just wasn't relevant. It was the most relevant thing you could have talked about. It was more relevant than anything. What is wrong with you? Why are you making that fucking stupid face? Jeez.
You guys, he's bringing this up
Having roid
to
rage
be
right
like, here,
now.
look at this. Here, debate this. Here, talk about this. Oh, and by the way, I did touch her and I didn't ask. And yes, that's the thing she's coming out about. That I'm confirming. But look at this.
But like, there are multiple ways to ask. Are we NPC robots? Yeah, the people who are watching this and agree, their understanding of consent is going to be so. They're going to have consensual sex with someone and not like it the next morning because his dick was too small or too big, and they're going to be like, oh well, turns out he didn't know his dick size, didn't consent to that. So I found out he had a weird wart on his back. Turns out I got guys. Thanks, Caitibugzz. I'm just like you. And the fact she tried to like attach this to Shovel's story, which is like undoubtedly way worse, if you want to take it at face value, is also crazy. I'm not tickleable. I'm not ticklish at all.
It's so obvious to me.
Ever.
I mean, even like,
I do not
you
giggle.
know, in DMs and stuff, that in my first video, I confirmed I came out about the fact that, about the messages, but him saying, let's switch from Instagram DMs to go to Snapchat. What is the point of texting on Snapchat versus Instagram? The only reason we didn't continue on Snapchat is because I didn't want to continue there. In the middle of a convo being like, let's switch to Snapchat, where messages and pictures disappear. I mean, I just feel like these kinds of people are so...
Once again, like, you were 18. Even if you like sexted, like, is that predatory behavior or something? Like, what is the issue there? Like, yeah, obviously when you add someone on Snapchat, like, it's typically for the reason of like, want to see my cock? It's not like he made you do that. He didn't pressure you into it. You said no. For some reason, you're able to say no at that point, but you weren't able to say no before. You simultaneously are like the person in control of all these interactions and consent, and also you cannot be held accountable for any of your involvement. She's applying using Snapchat as predatory? Yeah, she is, because like she's freshly 18 or freshly out of high school, right? Like, you're an adult. You get news from an 18-year-old, are you a file? Jesus.
smart and so calculated. I feel like it's so obvious.
Thank you, Bedframe
but
Johnson,
I also
for
acknowledge
becoming a
why people
member.
wouldn't see it, because they are very convincing. And honestly, I acknowledge, I mean, it's fine if you don't believe me.
I don't. Thanks for your permission.
I would also like to point out every source that he's getting. If you've noticed, anytime he says, well, she seemed comfortable, and I even asked, the person he's getting to confirm his point of view is his best friend.
Okay, so who did you have to confirm your point of view? Who'd you have? Ghosty, your best friend, who at the time apparently and months afterward expressed no discontent, and then once you came out, she supported you? Like, can we talk about her friends too? If she wants to have a problem with the fact she was drinking, what about her friends that supplied her alcohol? How did you get that alcohol? Who are these people who put her in this situation? Why can't they be held accountable?
Or the guy that he called in the video, again, his friend. The three guys that were there, the one guy I didn't mention, and the other two are all friends. He says, well, she wasn't uncomfortable. Well, she seemed like she was fine. And I asked Dream about this. That's his best friend. That is...
Yeah, but it's his best friend who also, like, at one point was literally crying on stream because he thought that he was guilty because of what you said. Do you know how quick Dream would be to, like, throw someone under the bus if he thought he had to for his career? Like, if he thought he was genuinely, like, in a position where he had to and that person was in the wrong? Dream is the king of, like, apologizing. Like, obviously he would do that in a heartbeat. I'm not saying it's necessarily in, like, a facetious way, but, like, that's obviously he has an incentive to do that. He almost did do it until he found out more information about it and found out that clearly George was innocent. Oh, you asked your friend that was there. Well, like, who else is he supposed to ask? His friend who wasn't there? The only person he asked who wasn't there was someone whose DM you claimed was, like, involved. In terms of that guy never even sent the DM.
helping him make these videos. He is quite literally helping him and sending him stuff to make these videos, these edited responses that
Oh
he's
no,
making.
his friend helped him. Edited responses. Maybe you'd have had a little more of a coherent lie if you'd edited your response instead of firing up 2 live streams in a twit longer where you lied repeatedly. Maybe you'd be able to get your story straight. Oh no, the big creator who was falsely accused or accused at all is making an edited response so he can get his story straight and have it all out there. Like, the horror, dude. What a horrible person. Disgusting. Aren't you reading from a fucking doc right now? Weren't you reading from one before in the first response? What the
He's making them with Dream, like, and then he's using Dream as a source to tell if I was okay or not. I mean, and this friend, whose career is also on the line because they've built their careers together. If he goes down, they both go down. They're obviously gonna back each other up. And I do acknowledge this is me.
That's not really the case, though. Like, Dream would be fine without George. He doesn't need him. I don't know if you guys know how successful Dream is at his fucking music. I didn't even believe it when I first saw this. Did you know that Dream has a song with like 100 million plays on Spotify? Did you know this? It's kind of crazy. If you go on Dream's Spotify, Change My Clothes has 76 million plays. Mask has 88 million. Crazy number there. Road Trip has 116 million. Like, he doesn't need any of these people. He has 3 songs with like legit artist numbers. He has 500,000 monthly listeners, which is extremely hard to get for most people. Half are John Swan based. To be fair, 100 million plays Spotify is probably like $20. I mean, yeah, but all I'm saying is like Dream is like independently wealthy. He doesn't need these people. He has thrown people out of his fucking clan back in the day whose careers he fucking made, like Manatreed, when he found out he was probably a shitty fucking person because of a police report. Like the idea that there's like a pattern of behavior here is of this like protecting the in-group is crazy.
Acknowledging.
The point of me saying that is just to show that like Dream can get attention regardless of whatever George Not Found does. He doesn't need him.
Believe me, or if you don't believe him, or if you don't believe either of us, because our point of views are biased. I mean, my point of view is probably really biased because I'm the one that got felt up. I mean, I'm not going to feel great about the situation. But if you're wondering, like, who you can trust on saying how these people are behind the scenes, really acknowledge and really pay attention to the people that are speaking out. Pay attention to the people that surround them to this day. Pay attention to the people that haven't spoken out but have distanced themselves. And pay attention to the people that are speaking out. Because
I mean, Dream was literally falsely accused of being a pedophile, and to my understanding, a bunch of creators just distanced themselves from him because they were like, oh, well, whatever the case, I'm not going to be around him because it's a bad career move. Like, I'm supposed to trust, like, the fakest people of all time, the Minecraft community, who's fucking notorious for cowering to stan culture and playing into the parasocial bullshit that these people fucking like, these losers, these disgusting losers in the audience, these non-binary 13-year-olds. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but, like, seriously, like, parasocial losers, dude.
They both go down. They're obviously going to back each other up. And I do acknowledge, this is me acknowledging, I can also be a hypocrite in this situation because I had a best friend there.
Why is she looking away from the camera? Well, she's staring at herself in the reflections so she can make sure she doesn't look like demonic or something.
Obviously, my best friend was there. So it's these 3 guys who were friends and then me and my best friend. But I would also like to point out the 2 girls that were there, the one from the screenshot that said, mentioned the age difference and like was mentioning how weird it was. And then the other girl that mentioned that, the other girl that was there during the assault that texted me the day after and said, are you okay? I was really uncomfortable with how touchy George was being. Those 2 girls, I met 2 days prior.
And you know what you said at the time? Yeah, I mean, it was kind of awkward, but it was fine. Whatever. Not a big deal. Whatever. That doesn't exactly help your case.
Those 2 girls weren't my friends.
The constant half admissions are a pretty big tell that she's lying. She's really clawing for credibility. Yeah, she's had to walk back a lot of positions while simultaneously acting like she's like in the right completely. Crazy. Sorry, my bad. I wasn't talking about, I was talking about something else.
They were lovely, lovely girls, yes. But I met them 2 days prior. And after VidCon, I never spoke to them again. My most recent texts from them are after I came out about my story. These aren't people that, you know, these are people that I had just met. And both of these girls were uncomfortable with the situation.
I also think it's worth acknowledging, like, a lot of people in the community seemingly have a vested interest in lying about Dream. One of these people, Amesy, seemingly supported the false pedophilia accusations against Dream at one point. Like, I'm not really inclined to trust almost anything they say. Oh.
Situation.
Hey, brother.
What's up, man?
I was wondering where you are halfway through the video. So are we thinking big or no?
Certainly the silverback allegations are being greatly denied here. I'd say that George is not nearly as much of an ape as she made it out. But the biggest question to me is, like, if this is how it went the whole time, right? If this news story is the real story, like, why not just say that from the beginning? Like, she claims, like, oh, I wasn't focused on these other details. I was focused on my assault. How did you forget that you were cuddling? How did you forget that he touched your tit?
How did you forget you got assaulted? Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know.
How did you forget you got your gazoongas diddled? Like, how would you forget that?
Apparently he was using her like Mike Tyson uses a punching bag when he's training for a fight.
Base, dude. Honestly, respect for that one.
But does your opinion, let's say hypothetically, the tit grab is fair game. Not only was it under the shirt, it was under the bra.
Are you saying, like, hypothetically it's real?
Well, yeah, hypothetically she's telling the truth because there is something from George's statement that implies it might be true.
Yeah, I do know that. I couldn't find the clip, but I've seen the clip.
It's on Twitter, yeah.
I don't think it changes that much, honestly. No.
I don't think it changes
there would be circumstances under which a tit grab could be pretty egregious, but this doesn't seem like one of them.
Yeah. No,
like,
I mean,
like if her initial story was like, we were talking, we were flirting, I was uncomfortable, he was next to me, and then all of a sudden he stuck his hand up my shirt and touched my tit, like, that would be crazy.
No, yeah, this is 2 people in the wee hours of the morning who are drinking together, spooning. She's constantly getting up, sitting back down, and spooning again.
I don't understand now is she said she was sitting upright while they were cuddling. Was she sitting on his lap? Did you miss that from the video? Like she said she was sitting.
I'm sure there were different orientations that were happening because I have no idea. At one point, she specifically said I was little spoon and she was spooning.
I feel like if she was sitting on his lap or like that's almost more sexual, but she didn't really say that. She still keeps it vague. Like
yeah, nobody wants to say anything. I put a tweet out. I'm like the biggest problem in this whole drama is that we're on response number 7 and we're still learning intrinsic parts that we should have known from like the first day. Like it's impossible to track this.
Richter said, "I'm just so surprised George isn't gay, to be honest." Biggest revelation.
Dude, my favorite part in this. Did you get to the part where she's like, something with, dude, I'm just tired of butts.
Yes, D-Max.
Apparently George is too. Oh, you saw me say that?
I did.
You stole my real joke.
Nobody in chat knows who D-Max is, though, and I honestly don't really know who D-Max is. Probably for the best, because that guy. Irrelevant, embarrassing.
With any bisexual YouTuber. Oh, dude, that's the biggest one out of this whole thing. Did you get there yet?
What?
Oh, you don't know.
Oh, wait. Is it the asexual thing?
When she screams, she's like, "I'm asexual. I never would have liked it." Like, oh, I literally lost my shit. We're like hour 7 on content, and we found out that the girl is asexual.
Dude, I'm sorry, I just don't buy the asexual thing. Like, I don't think anyone.
Dude, then why would she think that she was chilling with it in the moment if she doesn't like any sexual activities? Go reread her fucking messages. Now it makes no sense. I mean, she was chilling with getting groped in public, and then post talk she realized she was asexual.
Dude, it's insanity. It's insanity. To me, it seems like okay. There's a few things at play. One, general regret over the fact her first apparent semi-sexual interaction, or relatively sexual interaction without sex, was with someone who she regrets it being with, right? I mean, that's one thing. Secondly, I think her friends behind the scenes reinterpreting events for her, talking to her about this. Thirdly, I think her wanting to get back at like the Minecraft community based on some joke she made a while ago that like hashtag canceled her or whatever. It seems like all these things are at play, and it was pretty... it's pretty clear to me that, I don't know, she seems to think she's in the right. I don't even know if she knows that she lied. Dude. But the biggest thing to me that's like curious about the lying thing that's kind of like getting me to think she is like just like almost pathological is the omission of the tit grab until now, whether it happened or not, and the omission of the cuddling until now, which obviously like she had to have known going into it, like saying they were cuddling would make it look like less of an assault. Yeah. Right? Like that's the biggest thing for me, and why like I'm going to have such a hard time believing her with almost anything she says, you know.
My prediction is George comes out and admits that it was that, and then he like goes back on his statement and mentions what he said in the previous time.
Like admits that he tit grabbed her, you mean?
Do you think he cucks again? Or do you think he comes out with all the logic and the facts?
If he cucks again, like whatever happens to him, I don't give a shit.
I mean, I'm already in the not give a range. He can win me back if he demolishes this girl publicly.
It was baseball. She has brought it to T-ball. The ball is on the tee. Like he needs to knock it out of the park, or he's literally.
Yeah, 100%.
Richter says these DSMP guys are all going to have to either live on their knees forever or basically turn heel and warm up to the commentary community. I mean, they don't need to warm up to the commentary community necessarily. What they need to warm up to is the fact that like their audience is fucking shit, and
they need to warm up to our advice. They need to warm up to our advice. That's what they need.
Yeah, you know, they need to warm up to the Silverbackers.
Don't condone my show. Don't condone Tom. Don't condone his show and anything that he said about these girls. But listen to what we're saying and use that.
I would say that the biggest thing is like, I don't think they should support how we say things, but I think they should support the content of the message. Because obviously, like, we're all very edgy. They're not. Probably behind the scenes, they're not even, right? It's not beneficial to them to like support that in any way, like the Hitler jokes or the URR jokes. Like to support that is dumb. And like, I wouldn't even feel bad.
Yeah, and we're not asking for that.
I wouldn't even feel bad if they like publicly condemned that kind of talk, because like
not at all.
Because like I fucking get it, dude. Like I get it. Whatever. Like I'm not gonna call him a pussy for that because I get it. What I will say is like if he bends the knee now, whatever, like beyond over, you know, beyond fucking over.
Yeah, he deserves it at that point.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love watching in this fucking video is when she constantly brings up the fact that he did a pre-recorded video as if that's a bad thing.
Yeah, that's what you should have done. She just regrets that she didn't do that because now she looks retarded.
No, she doesn't.
She couldn't get her lie straight. She couldn't get her lie straight.
You're wrong. You're 100% wrong.
What do you mean?
If she regretted it, she wouldn't be on stream doing it again. She's acknowledging it while continuing to do the same thing again. She's literally insane.
Well, then she couldn't use that argument, right? Because then if she did the pre-recorded thing, then she couldn't use the argument, which is one of the very little things she fucking has.
Nobody has a gun to her head making her do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody has a gun to her head saying like, you have to go and embarrass yourself publicly and make these horrible responses.
What do you think should happen to this girl? I feel like her career has to be over. If
I mean, I think anything less is a disservice to this community.
Not just the community,
if this
but
girl
like
has
sexual
any
assault
community,
victims everywhere.
I'll tell you, I have to walk one thing back. I thought she was going to be undateable after this. Turns out she's asexual, so this problem won't come up again.
She's also unfuckable, I guess. Jeez.
That's
dark.
That's what that means, Tom.
That's dark, dude.
If you try to convince an asexual girl to fuck you, you're grooming her. I don't care how old she is.
Well, what if I'm the one?
Now, Tom, I'm going to leave you with one thing.
What if it's asexuality with the exclusion of the silverback himself? I feel like that would be fair.
Did you know this isn't the worst stream on George tonight?
What?
Did you know Shubble came out and didn't mention any names but defended her vehemently and made a whole stream about how 18-year-olds are actually children and people are like disgusting if they like interact with them?
I was trying to be nice to that girl.
Me too. That's exactly what I said. Shubble went crazy, Tom.
Well, in fairness, imagine how bad it would look for her if she came after this girl.
But she kept screaming. She's like, 18-year-olds, I mean, children, literally children, having sex with teenagers, literal children.
They didn't even have sex.
The entire time. Yeah, well, she's talking about it from a more general perspective.
She probably should have said nothing because that's not going to help her case against Wilbur.
By the way, one more thing. I keep getting mad. I see your chat saying freshly 18.
Bro, if Wilbur responds now, imagine how bad this is going to look on Shubble.
Oh, God. Well, I still think that Shubble had some yardage there for Wilbur, but I'm a little concerned after watching her most recent tweets.
I would agree.
But dude, that's another one. The freshly 18 thing. No one was stopping her from correcting that in the last 3 weeks. Now it's freshly out of high school. We're revisionism again. But she's given a response since then. She could have clarified that point several times.
Well, she also could have clarified the tit grab thing right away, but she didn't do that for some reason in the first.
And it's our fault. We're not mind readers.
Typed out pre-planned response where she had every opportunity to write, "He grabbed my tits. He grabbed my tits." Why didn't she write that?
It's very easy to look at this girl and just say, I'm not going to listen to another word she says on the entire issue, because it's just like she's lied so much.
Yeah, it's crazy. And one thing she's right about is she's going to be remembered for this for a long, long time.
Dude.
A long time. And so are her friends, honestly. I'm curious if we're going to get some more takes from Max GG or Amesy about this. Like, what are they going to say?
Dude, she directly, I think she calls me out in this, but doesn't say my name.
The clickbait thing?
No. When she says, you're adding my friends and demanding they respond. I think that's me.
Does she say that? I don't think I've heard that yet.
Yeah, she says that. I think it's me when I tweeted at Amesy.
One of the craziest things she said was she was like, if you're a journalist reaching out to me for my side, you can choke. It's like, I thought you wanted people to hear your side.
Bro, Shubble goes on a whole rant about people wishing death on other people today.
Does she actually?
Right, while she's defending the girl who told people to kill themselves on the street.
Dude. To be fair, I think wishing death on people is not cool and also based. But at the same time, why is she mad that journalists are her friend? Kotaku reached out and you're mad at them. What do you think? Do you think they're going to criticize? What is going on? What the fuck is
George
going on?
Zimmerman in chat asked if you're going to respond to what Dark Pussy AU said.
Probably at some point, but I can't watch his video live because it's.
We can't because he's a total fucking pussy baby and he's going to DMCA every single person.
Yeah, exactly. I did reach out.
So I'm going to just watch all the videos about him instead. That's what I'll do. I'll watch all the videos that he responded to. Just run those for a week.
I reached out to him on Twitter because he had said that he wanted to have a conversation. So I tweeted at him asking him to message me so we can talk about it. So, I mean, we'll see what he says, I guess, if he responds at all. Because he said he wanted to.
Wait, did you see how I responded to it today?
No.
I think you did. I'm not going to make you watch it. I'm going to send you a screenshot to show your chat, though, because I think they'll find it. They'll appreciate my humor. Okay. We stim Max today while we were watching it.
DMCA maxing? Dude, based. Claim everything.
Dude, if he claims this, it becomes canon to his network.
If he claims it's over, but
if he fucking strikes this, I don't know what I can do. I only watched half the video today. I'm going to watch half another day. The reason why Tipster is in frame is because somebody AI'd the entire video into Tipster's voice. So we're not even watching him. They recreated the video using Tipster assets and used his voice. So this is how you can successfully react to Dark Viper on stream. This is what you need to do.
Let's see here. Okay.
Dude, what do you think, dude?
Sometimes you say things that make me want to gouge my eyes out.
Do you see what he's sitting inside of?
Is that Morgue Pie's butt?
Ass. Yeah, it's Morgue Pie's ass.
Morgue Pie from the Super Mega Allegations. He's inside of her ass.
Yep. That's Dark Viper tipster inside of Morg Pie's ass.
Look, dude, I don't.
Subway Surfer plays Fortnite, GTA 5, and CS:GO.
It looks like it's the same Fortnite as well. It's repeated.
Oh yeah, it's the same gameplay twice, and that's actual gameplay of me playing.
Lilith says the real wonder is if Mr. Nicholas would cuddle George or Tipster. What's your pick? Who would you?
I'll take my chances. I'll take my chances with George.
Base, dude. Well, he might cuddle you back, and then you might be able to make a bag off it. You know, get some Twitch subs or whatever.
Dude, Tipster would smell like tacos.
I mean, has that ever been a problem for you before? What if you smelled like IHOP? Then would you be happy?
Bro, I don't like IHOP like that, dude. I had IHOP like
you'll
once
forever
last
be
year.
you'll forever be the IHOP guy because I've never heard of someone ordering IHOP on Uber Eats.
Bro, you never ordered breakfast during COVID?
I think I just made eggs.
This was during COVID. That's when people just bought shit that delivered.
Can you just make eggs?
I could make eggs, but I can't make the pancakes like that.
You can definitely make pretty good pancakes at home, Nick.
Bro, excuse me, what do you cook, Tom? I'm just so curious. What's the last thing you've cooked? And it's not a Hot Pocket.
Okay, so in fairness, I did...
Oh, so in fairness, okay yeah. Some green beans?
I did eat out for 4 months straight, but last week I made a steak.
Oh, okay.
Last week I made a steak and I tried to cook rice-a-roni,
nice.
and the rice-a-roni ended up completely burnt in a puddle of water, and it was inedible, and but the steak was like, I mean, overcooked, but okay, so...
What are you, Irish? Like, what is your thing?
Irish?
Scandinavian? What are you, Scandinavian?
I'm 100% German.
You're German. No,
Yeah.
you're not.
Well, I was telling Chad about the fact that a lot of people...
Is that why your last name is your name is Joe Scheiser, right? Like that's like you lie about being Tom?
Joe Hitler is my name, actually.
Dude, Joe Hitler, that's crazy.
I noticed a lot of people weren't talking about the fact that George would actually tickle the Jews before he sent them off to Auschwitz.
Oh my god, dude.
Nobody talked about that. Nobody talked about him funding a very weird political party in the 1930s, or the fact he's 128 years old, which would give credence to the power imbalance. Because if you're 128 and an 18-year-old, bro, think about it. The entire war, the division of Germany passed over. Okay, the reuniting of Germany, the Cold War passed before Katie could get tickled. So just think about that.
Bro, this is so... If I had $1 for every stream on this subject that mentioned Hitler and the Jews, I would have $2. And that's not a lot of money, but that's weird that it's happened twice in one night.
It is weird.
I was talking about Holocaust revisionism while I was talking about her story. That's so funny.
And I think on your stream, didn't I say the cookie thing?
Oh, and you said the cookie thing. Oh, we were talking about it together.
So yeah. I think both times it was kind of me.
For some reason, there's something about this story that keeps making people think of anti-Semitism.
Well, there was a lot of tickling, I hear, allegedly.
All right, buddy. I'll let you get back to it. I was just the halftime entertainment for your little show here. By the way, she mentioned talking about this like it was a sporting event, and I took real offense to that line specifically.
It is time. It is time.
Wait, hold on.
I'll unmute your soundboard. Do it,
dude.
It is time.
All right.
I'm hyped. Goodbye, Nick. Okay. We're going to get back to the video now, guys. Good little intermission there.
And it's okay if you don't believe me, or if you don't believe him, or if you don't believe either of us, because our point of views are biased. I mean, my point of view is probably really biased because I'm the one that
streams. I hate how these MCY teachers are such massive cowards. I can't say a pathological liar lied about them to save their career. Well, we'll see what they do now. Have faith in George not found, okay? He will be found on earth as he was in heaven.
I mean, I'm not going to feel great about the situation, but if you're wondering, like, who you can trust on saying how these people are behind the scenes, really acknowledge and really pay attention to the people that are speaking out. Pay attention to the people that surround them to this day. Pay attention to things that have happened, but that isn't my story to tell. I can only tell so much because those aren't my stories. You know, those aren't my stories to tell. But
are we gonna get
Tom?
What? Why are you back? Right. What the f***? You jump scared me.
Tom, I need you to react to this one.
I almost jumped out of my fucking asshole.
Tom, please, I need you to read this. Please.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's not that big of a...
Is it this one you just sent?
Yes, please read that, Tom.
Dude, I've seen this. This subreddit is fucking bait, dude.
Please read this, Tom.
New pre-workout just dropped. Is it gay to imagine my ex getting railed to lift harder at the gym? r/more plates, more dates. Why are they doing this to his subreddit? Why is Derek from More Plates, More Dates being hurt like this? Lately, this is what I do in the gym every single day, guys. Oh my God. Lately, I've been using this strategy to optimize my testosterone when lifting. For example, I'll be doing bench press, and when I feel myself nearing muscle failure, I imagine my cheating ex-girlfriend who broke my heart getting plowed in all of her holes. I feel myself running out of steam, and I vividly picture her sucking and f***ing various men of all ages and races. Usually many at a time, over 18, no Asians or Indian. Well, at least you clarified that. At least he clarified they were all of age and they were all not Asian or Indian for some reason. Is it because they're like beta races? Like, I was squatting 315 on the Planet Fitness Smith machine and I felt my spine giving out around rep 37. Isn't that an insane amount of reps to do? Okay, this is how you know it's fake. No, does anybody do 37 reps on squat?
I don't know. I can't tell. I won't know.
Suddenly, the image popped in my mind, her getting Eiffel Towered by my dad and best friend. I began screaming so loud the lunk alarm went on for a solid minute, but I was able to squeeze out that final 38th rep. I couldn't walk for 3 days and my glutes were so fucking pumped. I'm finding that my strength has gone through the roof, but I'm concerned this is making me gay. Yeah, that's a valid concern. I mean, I don't know if that's the only... I feel like it's better to be gay than whatever this is.
I'm sorry. I just read this and it was just immediately thinking of you, so I had to put this
in here. I came to mind. Thank you very much, Nick. Well, I'm glad that I could... All my progress just amounts to the cuck guy in the gym. Thank you, dude. To be honest,
you're the only one I know who goes to the gym.
Because commentary channels for some reason just refuse to exercise.
Wait, I'm sorry. Does Bo Black's not pump reps?
Bo Black's did 100 pull-ups, I'll have you know, at VidCon. And then he hit the dab pen and then he took his feet out. And it was awesome.
That's so funny.
All right, get the out of here, dickhead.
Later, gamer.
Goodbye. Jesus.
But it's the things that it's just don't worry, I'm trying to not prolong this. The 3 main things I said in my first stream, and the 3 important things in this story: age, power, and consent. 2 things, again, he's conveniently...
Age and power are not relevant, okay? You were a legal adult, first of all. For power, like, he had no ability to take anything away from you. This is the thing, like, with that fake debater guy that I talked to on, Destiny's live stream, it turned out to be a freaking, he turned out to be a complete degenerate troll, which I haven't gone over. Maybe we'll review that at some point today. But a common argument I see from that guy who was trolling and, you know, actual people like this is they like compare George to Harvey Weinstein. And the thing that you miss out on that comparison is like Harvey Weinstein was a fucking multi-millionaire movie producer, which is the important part, who was specifically making women fuck him for roles. He was raping them for roles. Okay? He was their boss. George Not Found was not her boss. She could have just been fine. She was totally fine through any interaction. After they didn't have sex, did he like ruin her career or talk negatively about her? No. He just moved the fuck on. So this comparison makes no sense. Power dynamics matter if there's an abuse of that power dynamic. And in this case, there was no abuse of it. The power dynamic in this interaction was actually not present. Remove the Minecraft stuff. All the same stuff would have been true about the situation. Add the Minecraft stuff, it's all still true. You're still lying.
Not acknowledged, or conveniently didn't acknowledge at the time.
The thing is, he did acknowledge it in his responses, which is crazy.
Age, the age gap, obviously. Again, my story's about consent, but these are really important to... These will explain my thought process, just the way things played out. The age gap. Yes, it's important to know. Again, not freshly 18, freshly out of high school, 18 and 5 months, and he was 26. It's also important to acknowledge this age gap because of the experience gap. The way that he came out in his video and said what he did to me was tame for him.
Not for him, for anyone. It was below tame. It was fucking nothing. It was normal. The way she's using this language almost makes it think that she was taking check marks as she met him. Oh, okay, this guy will do. He's older and a YouTuber. He just tickled me this essay. Yeah. She's going down the fucking list of stan community read that they want to hear, obviously.
And how it's something that has affected me so much because it was the first time. And if I could have...
You're 18. You chose for it to be your first time. Why is she never responsible for her own actions or held accountable for her own choices? Like, this is your choice. Tell me, you, me, oiled, bouncy castle goat. Jesus, Alicia, chill out, bro.
If I knew, I wouldn't have... You know, if I had the choice of where my first time being sexual or whatever, I would have not picked there. I would have not picked it in front of multiple people.
Oh. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have consented to it at the time if you didn't want that to be the case. A lot of people's first sexual interactions are shitty. That doesn't mean it's assault. First person I had sex with, you know, it sucks. I don't really talk to that person anymore. But like that doesn't mean it's rape. Like I consented. I wanted to do that. Obviously, in hindsight, you can decide like, oh, that wasn't that good. Not sexual assault. Nothing bad happened to you.
But again, it's important how it was tamed to him, but also the age gap of, you know, if that was tamed to him, or if he's done stuff like this before, you think he'd know better. The power imbalance. No, I didn't fucking bring up power and say how I was excited to be there because of his clout. I wasn't fucking using him for his clout. That's not why power is important here. Him going and being like, I feel used.
I mean, you said the reason you went there was to like network or something, right? That was a defense made a lot in your favor. She was there to network.
Fucking cry me a river. That's not why I brought up the power. Why power is important in this is because I looked up to them. I was an aspiring creator, and these were the biggest creators in the industry. Like, I before I started streaming, I watched these people. I watched the Dream SMP. Like, I did that shit.
And then you found out that they were horny? What is a disappointment?
I looked up to them. I was excited being around them because I was excited to be around such successful people. Not because I only see people for their followers, but because I've looked up to these people. And that's why it's so much more heartbreaking. I mean, being violated is one thing, but who it comes from is also. And again, it's not, I wasn't going to use this and use their clout. Also, I stayed silent for so long because I knew how much power they had. I mean, you've seen, there are people.
Because you're freshly 18. Yeah, disgusting, dude. Freshly 18. 18-year-old child. You're such a baby. I'm just a baby. I need my diaper changed. No, George, don't change my diaper for me.
To this day that stay silent about their experiences because of.
But the thing is, like, people supported you. If you were telling the truth, people would just support you. Like, so many false allegations came out against Dream that people believe for years. Like, people are thirsty for that. People are thirsty. The Minecraft community is extremely supportive towards allegations. Look at the support Shelby Shovel got. Did she get shit on like you? No. But she also apparently knew when to shut her fucking mouth. You didn't. Why are you smiling?
Of what's happening to me right now. You saw what has happened to me since I came out, about how smart they are with these situations, and how there's creators that have messaged me about their stories but say they're still scared to do it. I mean,
thanks for the dono, Rosari.
It's even the fact of the power in the situation.
Can I call you
we have the same fucking Twitch manager. Like, I had so much at cost. I put up with it all. After it happened, I didn't want it to happen. But, you know, I was just trying to forget about it because we have the same Twitch manager. The reason I was at VidCon in the first place, the reason I got...
Wait, why was this never mentioned? Why did she never say they have the same Twitch manager? Why was this never brought up before? That could be true, but why was it never brought up? And also, can you imagine the scandal that a Twitch manager would be under if they dropped someone who legitimately accused a large YouTuber with evidence? What does Twitch manager have to do with anything? Well, she's saying the Twitch manager is part of the power imbalance because she had like a business relationship tied to George, basically, right? So she's saying like, oh, well, I face risk of being dropped. Twerk for Africa? I will not be twerking for Africa. There'll be no thug posting on this stream, okay?
Meet and greet back in TwitchCon and got to meet my viewers for the first time. Moments that mean so much to me was all thanks to my Twitch manager. Without that, I wouldn't be able to do content. I wouldn't be able to continue. And they told me, again,
thank you, Bella Strange.
They didn't tell me in a malicious or threatening way, but I just learned that night again.
Unfortunately, I've been streaming for 2 hours and 40 minutes and we're not even 2/3 through this fucking response, man. Thank you, Kickflips, for becoming a member.
Questions and games we were playing, they have the same Twitch manager that would do anything for them. I mean, if I came out about anything, I'm not saying they would have used that, but I hope you guys would understand how I was in a place of, I was scared of their power, you know, and I acknowledged their power and their fame, not because I was acknowledging them for their numbers and not for who they were as a person.
But like, is there any history of like them cutting off career connections for this kind of stuff? Like, for example, like Harvey Weinstein, right? Had a long history of like fucking women for roles, pressuring girls into sex for roles, raping girls for roles, right? Like there was a large history of misconduct. Is there any history of misconduct for these people where like somebody makes an allegation, oh, all of a sudden they lose all their jobs? Is there a history of that? Can't believe George Ticklestein would do this. Goodbye, Leslie.
But because I acknowledged that my future could be over because of the connections that they had, even in my own life, like in my own success that I was having as a creator. My biggest, contributor to that success was someone that they were also tied to and had way more, say over. And also the biggest thing about power in that situation, again, I had so much at risk. I had to suck up what happened to me. That's what I'm talking about. Putting up with it. I'm saying that because I didn't want my future at stake because I got... But
like, once again, like you need to establish like a pattern of behavior for this to be a concern. Like power dynamics can exist, but the question is like, is there an abuse of that power, right? Is there a clear abuse? Is there a clear instance in which that power is being abused? The presence of a risk does not, or the presence of a fear does not give validity to that fear, right? This is just how you felt. The reality could be way different. Did you lose your Twitch manager as a result of coming out about this now? Did that happen? Wouldn't she say that if that happened? Has that happened? Or did she lose him already because like she had no audience? Like what is the case there,
Both did. But also the power that he took by doing it in front of people. I'm a very shy person.
Thank you, Zen, for the gift of membership.
It's hard for me to say, to stand up for myself in regular...
Well, whose fault is that? Once again, like all these excuses for like reasons she didn't do it. Like, you're an adult, make your own decisions. You're in the big girl world now. You can't simultaneously like be a giant victim and also have no agency over yourself. Like you need to have fucking agency. You need to do things to protect yourself from these situations. Why were you not doing that, Katie? Have I missed anything of substance? Yeah, rewind. Which part? Which drama was she a part of again? The Skibbity toilet drama. It's getting dark for boom.
Other situations, but I feel like if that sexual move or, you know, wanting to take it to the next level, if it was done in a private setting, maybe I could have mustered up enough courage to say, no, I'm not comfortable with this, or to rip his hands out of my fucking bra. But he did it on a couch with other people sitting next to us. And
wouldn't that give you all the more reason to like stop him though if you were really uncomfortable? Especially if other people are present to see what's happening, like wouldn't that, because like you're not alone with him. It's not like you're like unprotected, like your friends are there, right? Wouldn't that give you more of a reason to make him stop, if anything? If it was private, I feel like that would have weighed way worse in her favor. In this case, like, I mean, she's around a bunch of people who ostensibly are not rapists or sexual abusers or whatever, like, and some of her friends are there too. I'm questioning why she's not acknowledging the fact she like got up from the couch and then just like went back. I know she said she didn't want to embarrass him before, but that's not a very good explanation to me.
With other people in the room, you know.
If she was alone, then she would have used that fact in place of this. Yeah, of course she would. Because it's always about the most convenient argument you can make, given the circumstances, right?
Any expression I did, anything I did, it was on display for other people. He took the power away from me in that situation. And once again, the consent aspect. I understand if you think I'm full of shit. I understand if you don't believe.
Can we go on to the next topic? Now I gotta finish her response to see if there's anything in here. I have an obligation, legally speaking, for my team to finish it. Okay.
Me at all. I understand.
Also, I just gotta see if like, is there even one receipt in this she shows or anything, or is it all just like backtracking and then also adding on a bunch of bullshit to make her look better? There's got to be something.
Things you think I'm full of
Surely.
shit about, you know, who cares about the age? Who cares about, you know, the power imbalance in the situation? The consent is always fucking there. He admitted, I never gave verbal consent. Again, the only question he asked is, are you ticklish? I said, no. Like,
but like verbal consent is not the only form of consent. Why do you keep harping on this? In every sexual interaction, is everybody giving complete verbal consent? How many times do I have to fucking say this? Jeez, I'm just fucking on a fucking wheel right now.
There was no consent given. It doesn't matter if you're laughing. It doesn't matter
like,
what
there was implicit consent.
Wearing.
What you're wearing was never a part of it. You laughing was also, I mean, kind of a part of it, but like someone laughing with nothing else doesn't matter. Someone laughing, smiling, enjoying herself, and simultaneously cuddling with a guy for an hour obviously plays into the fact that he thought you were okay with it, right?
It doesn't matter where you are. That is not an invitation. And for everyone saying, well, you could have gave nonverbal consent, I will tell you right now, if I was given the opportunity to give even nonverbal consent, my answer would have always been no. I'm asexual.
Yeah. Dude. What are we getting into here, man? I'm asexual. Well, if you're asexual, why are you doing sexual things with guys like cuddling and flirting with them all night? I kind of don't believe this. I'm sorry. I don't think asexuality is a fucking real, dude. I don't know. This is a bit too far. Dude. The septum, yeah, you probably would say you're asexual or demisexual or some other made up thing.
I don't like sexual stuff. Given the option of doing something sexual, my answer is going to be no. I'm on the spectrum of asexual, which I don't know if it's because of my
bad... On the spectrum? Yeah, I probably could have guessed that one, dude. Jesus.
Experiences, but anything sexual makes me extremely uncomfortable. So let's say under the circumstances, I'm drunk and I could have gave nonverbal consent. I would have still said no.
Then why didn't you express that at the time? That's a crazy face. Why didn't you express that at the time? Oh man.
Verbally. However, the fuck I could have done that. And again, I'm drunk. Oh, you were laughing. Oh, you were doing.
Only ace when she's caught in a lie. Yeah. Glad this is being brought up now. I'm asexual.
Drunk with my friends. How did I? The reason I brought up this entire situation and what I was hoping to bring light to, this wasn't about him. This wasn't about him. I was trying to bring light to blind idolization. How dangerous.
What the f are you talking about? Of course it was about him the entire time. Why talk about him then? Why say his name? It's not about him. I didn't want to cancel him. I wanted to make a greater point about blind idolization and making a video essay. Shut the f up. No, you weren't. You wanted your story to be heard. 5 minutes ago, it was because you wanted to talk about George not found and how of a person he is. Now it's this. Wait, they played a game talking about the sexual experiences. Why was her being asexual not brought up then? That's a good question. Thinking I'm a virgin.
Dangerous it is. Coming from someone who was a viewer, how dangerous it is to blindly idolize these people that you don't know. And I always tell my viewers that, to not idolize.
Coming from a viewer, how dangerous it is to blindly believe people who you do not know about sexual assault when they cannot prove it and have large inconsistencies in their stories and repeatedly lie about the events and update the story to fit their new narrative about how they were assaulted. Great.
Me to the point of defending me till like you die. You know, it's unhealthy. People aren't gonna be. Not everyone is who they seem, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's important to swallow it. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, she red pilled? This was happened a year ago, right? Why cry now, dude? I can't tell you at this point. She's off her rocker, bro. I'll ruin his career with false allegations, but trust me, guys, it's not about him. It's the bigger picture. Yeah, who's she gonna go for next? Who's the next allegation? She said a bunch of people messaged her saying there's other allegations about big creators they just haven't made yet. You're gonna have 20 other Nicholas Diorio streams on that, I guess. I'm gonna have to go live again when the power goes out to talk about it.
And especially in these kind of situations where you idolize someone to the point of where something bad comes out about them and you just dig for excuses for them. Just so many excuses instead of just accepting it. You know, that's where it gets dangerous. That's where it's dangerous for everyone involved.
I'm lying. Base, dude.
It's again, I know how hard something like this can be to accept. It's like, you know, if your best friend, you know your best friend so much, and someone comes to you and says they did something to them. You don't want to believe it because you know your best friend and you don't think they could ever do that. I mean, look at them because you know them so well, except you don't know these people. You
Do I know you? Why should I trust you? Why should I trust like the proven liar over the unproven liar, realistically? Dude, I am actively losing brain cells. Yeah, my brain is rotting out of my ears right now. But I need to finish it. I need to hear it.
You don't know these people. They are your best friend.
I have like a fucking gay obligation at this point to listen to every thing she says.
These are people that create content to millions of people. They aren't your best friend. Like you don't know who they could be. And that's why I think it's so important.
True. So if you're gonna like prove something about them, you probably need a lot of evidence and like backing support, right? Like you probably need to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt they're a person if you want me to believe something about them from these people I don't know and have no care for, right?
And it leaves you in a situation where you're like, well, how can I trust anyone? How can I? It's so important to see the people that do know. These content creators that have spent time with these people. These content creators that do know these people, have had private conversations with these people, speaking out against them. It's so blatantly obvious. These people that have seen them behind the scenes, that have hung out with them, you know, that have distanced themselves since then.
Is it that blatant? Is it that blatantly obvious? Do you think there could be other motives at play here? Like wanting to protect their own careers when Dream gets accused of being a pedophile, falsely, may I add. Getting clout off the fact the bigger creator is failing. Failed Twitter accounts, you know who you are. Failed loser content creator Twitter accounts and now have to get a real job after it didn't work out. Who are now envious of Dream and Sapnap and George Not Found and all these people and are using any little morsel they can get to justify their hatred, even when the allegations are clearly false. The dramatic body language is crazy, like she's giving a generational speech. Yeah, dude, she's Martin Luther King over here.
Or that have spoken out against them.
Well, they're probably all I'm sorry to say, they're probably all idiots.
Just hoping that this situation could open people's eyes. And again, how scary and how it's just building more and more this devotion to these people.
You're such a good person. You're such a martyr, dude. Did she ever mention the fake text? Yeah, she said she messed it up. That's her explanation. Oh, whoopsies. Goofy.
Cool. But I was just hoping to open some people's eyes, I guess. And it's definitely a problem bigger than me. This is just about the behind the scenes of this community, you know, and all the people that have fallen victim to it. I mean, there's so much that goes down, and I'm just one of the ones that came out about my story. I don't want to sit here and keep having to prove myself. I can't sit here and have to watch his responses and see his face and watch him describe it. I can't. I can't keep doing this, and I'm accepting the fact. Maybe, you know, nobody believes me. I'm accepting the fact. I'm accepting it. But also, I feel like, especially in this situation, there's nothing I could say that could change some people's minds. I think, again, because of this idolization, this is how it's dangerous. How, no matter what I say, no matter what proof I come out about, people that don't want to believe will never believe. They will never believe, no matter what comes out. It's because they don't want to. They will continue to find excuses.
She's like a cartoon character, breaks the fourth wall when she faces the screen, uncanny valley-looking cartoon girl. Adam Not 22 for 5 says, we need to hold George accountable for having talked to her for more than 5 minutes and still wanting to be within 10 feet of her. This is so painful. Yeah, that is the greatest thing here, right? That she's so stupid and he still wanted to cuddle her. Like, come on, bro. Find a girl who's a Mensa member, who's a genius, who has a TI-84 graphing calculator on her at all times. Not this art school dropout, whatever she is.
Is to not face reality. As for any forgiving or anything, I feel like it's very obvious. I was never in a position to forgive anyone. I didn't go into this wanting to forgive anyone. And again, that is my choice. But especially how I've seen the things play out. The way I've been treated, especially since his responses, would never forgive.
Oh, she never peruses acting because her performance is awful. Well, she convinced a bunch of children, so maybe she could be on like a CW show, right? I feel like she would fit pretty well there.
I wouldn't. I've been belittled, blamed, invalidated, been called a liar, been called Amber Heard, been called any name.
You are a liar. I think we've shown that through the 10 streams I had to do about you and your reputation.
Even though he sat there and admitted to it.
He didn't admit to it. Why do you keep saying he admitted to it? No, he did not. He admitted to making you feel bad or you feeling bad. That's it. Your feelings are invalid. I'm sorry. George won't say it. I'll say it for him. Your feelings are invalid. Nothing bad happened to you. You're fine. I don't know who convinced you or how you convinced yourself that you're like traumatized over this, but you're not. Seek therapy, seek help. Seriously, get medicated or something. Maybe that'll fix you. Just like mellow you out so you're not so schizo.
When I came out about my sexual assault story and he admitted to it.
He didn't admit to. I'm running in circles here.
Blaming though has been insane. And in these situations,
thank you, Queen, for being never for 12 months.
To this day, it happens all the time when someone comes out about something. The people saying I shouldn't have been illegally drinking. Well, that's what you get for being, illegally drinking. But
that's not really what the argument is, though. Like, nobody in a serious way is making that argument who's like a large channel, right? Like, the argument is more like, why were you illegally drinking? And then like blame George for making you drink or something and like getting you drunk when like that's not what happened. Like the reason why this even brought up is because you made it seem like he was like getting you drunk so he could like use you easier, right? It's part of the conversation. People are going to talk about it. It's not irrelevant. It's part of the story. You brought it up. You're not a turkey? Well, I've got some other news for you.
I was in the UK, where I am most of the time, drinking legally at 18, and this situation still happened. What then? Because I know the people saying it's my fault because I was illegally drinking would just find another reason to blame me. Even if I was legally drinking, they would find another reason to blame me. It's not about.
But that's not the real reason to. Nobody's blaming you just because you drank. They're saying you're being a silly Billy. You're being irresponsible. Somehow, once again, this only, I think, works in favor of George's argument more because she's like, well, I was in the UK legally drinking and nobody cared. And it's like, yeah, then why did you bring it up like it was part of it? The way she speaks reminds me of Invader V. Yeah, I could see that.
The drinking. It's not about the fact I laughed. It's about the fact that you just want to find a reason to blame me for the situation that happened to me.
You are to blame for the situation that didn't happen to you. You're to blame.
People saying I shouldn't have been laughing. I was drunk. Oh my God, I was drunk. Like, your mindset during that is, it doesn't change what you want and don't want. And again, it's people saying I probably liked it and now I just regret it. I didn't. I'm telling you, I didn't. I don't know how loud I have to shout it. And again, I'm asexual. I would have never liked it and then regret.
Oh my God.
I would have never liked it to begin with. I'm trying to tell you this. It's always a she shouldn't have done that. She should have done this. She shouldn't have been wearing that. She shouldn't have done this. Rather than a simple.
Nobody said anything what you were wearing. Jesus. She's just like making up arguments now. Who said that? She talks like there's dramatic strings playing behind her, seriously like she's giving a motivational speech, dude.
He shouldn't have done what he did. It's never just a simple he should have controlled himself. It's always her fault in these situations and never his for not controlling himself. I don't get it. And I would also like to point out it's not a her and he situation. Because men get assaulted too, okay? Roles are reversed. That's assault. Men get assaulted too. It can happen to anyone, and that's very real. And that's a conversation that really should be had, but not in this situation. It's not my fault for smiling. It's not my fault for being there. It's just not. I acknowledge that I was naive. I acknowledge. But I'm not going to apologize for being naive and not realizing, the way the world is sometimes, I would also like to acknowledge this is another thing that I am going to acknowledge and take accountability for. My goal for coming out about this all, I've strayed very far away from my goal. My goal when I came out about this was for it not to be about drama, for it not to be about canceling. And I know you hear that now and you're probably thinking you're the biggest hypocrite in the world, and I acknowledge that. I have strayed. Anytime I replied to him on Twitter, anytime I made a response on Twitter, anytime I was like, look at these tweets, it opened the floor for it to be viewed as drama and as, me trying to ruin his life. I made those tweets I felt like I was backed into a corner. I made those tweets out of anger. Seeing him say he would have never, crossed someone's boundaries, I was really upset. And I acknowledged by doing that stuff, I strayed away from my goal of why I did this all. But it is true that was my goal in the beginning. For everyone that watched my first stream and didn't stop, that happened. People watched my stream, heard me tell my story, how scared I was, heard my story, but stopped after the story was done, to go in their notes app, to write down every single detail about the guy that did it, to go to Twitter, to then form these bands and figure out who did it and who to attack. It wasn't fucking about him. It wasn't about him. And if you would listen,
wait, it dropped so good. The beat dropped at the perfect time.
It's barely even about me. It's me telling my story.
Dude, they know.
It's about assault and it's about the things that go on behind the scenes. And it became this thing about him, about canceling him, about drama. It turned into this thing to spread hate and to spread, people just fighting and taking sides and then people commenting on it. The commentary, it's like it's a fucking sports match. And it's not real fucking life. I can't turn it off. I can't. You can argue about it on Twitter. You can watch videos about it. You can talk about it on a podcast. You can make a video covering it. Then you can move on to the next big topic. You can move on to the next trending thing. You can turn off your phone and it doesn't exist anymore. I can't turn off my life. I can't turn off my memories. I can't turn it off. It's something that happened to me. Anytime someone asks, what's the furthest you've gone? That's my story. That's what I'm reminded of it. And I can't turn that off. It's a real thing. It's real people. The purpose of me trying to come out about this, I was trying to bring,
I watched you change.
And for all people in these situations that pressure other creators to make commentaries on it, and have other creators being like, say something, fuck you. What are you doing? Why are you begging at these other creators to say something and make comments just to put more things to consume in this situation? These are real people.
So alive. I watched you change.
It's not about them, it's not about him, it's about especially the creators that I never knew.
Just respond to what she just said. You make a public allegation, obviously people are going to be curious about what's going on, right? Like people are going to question people around to see the credibility. So it makes sense people would ask your friends who were there or your friends who were involved behind the scenes, what's going on? They would have questions about it. Just like you were asking and using evidence from other people around the events to paint George as a bad person. People are going to do the same thing to you. People are allowed to do. research. They're allowed to investigate. They're allowed to question these situations. I'm sorry your feelings are hurt by that. Like, you made a public allegation. People are going to question it.
Well, I wasn't aware about had stories that have reached out to me. You never know what someone's going through. Adding someone in these kind of sensitive situations, telling them to speak on it, you don't know what they've went through. You don't know if they've went through things with these people too. You don't know. It's disgusting to get these people, And again, I do say acknowledge the people coming out about this, speaking against it, and I am grateful for all the people that have. A lot of them.
So guys, like, you can listen to the people who like talk about it in my favor, but if you question how they talk about it, like, you're a piece of shit. Like, you suck, and in that case, like, you're just like a horrible person. Like, you're just a drama frog farmer, whatever. Horrible. Like, this is my life, guys. I talk about my life publicly on the internet. Are you allowed to talk about it? No. Who do you think you are, dude? You think you have a right to talk about public information online, dude? That is truly disgusting. Okay, you're worse than George.
Are my friends, and a lot of them, are creators that I look up to that have reached out to me, making sure I'm okay. But also, I will make aware that this also does open, the platform and open the ability for people
I'll never be safe.
That aren't good to speak on it and be like, yeah, I support you, just, So it is hard to fully trust everyone. But I brought it up. I brought all this up. It became into this thing of picking sides and dramatizing it, making it into drama instead of focusing on the bigger issue, instead of focusing on the things that happen in the content world, instead of focusing on the issues of blind idolization,
Blind idolization. She just doesn't like when people question her. I think that's the big takeaway here. Like, I'm mad someone questioned my story. I don't like that. It makes me upset. That's upsetting. You can like support me, but you can't disagree with me. And if you do, then you're fucked up.
But people only cared about finding something else to argue about instead of just focusing on the main idea. And the biggest thing that I want to mention, and one of the last things, is
play Dylan Mulvaney's song. I'd rather dry scoop G Fuel 100 more times tonight and have a heart attack.
People saying, why did you come publicly about this? Why didn't you keep it private? Because I saw what Shelby, for me, I saw the effect Shelby had on me. Seeing another content creator, someone I looked up to, speaking out about something that happened, realizing that someone I looked up to.
Does it shock you that Shelby didn't get nearly the pushback you got? Does that say something to you? Thank you, Invader Tomato, for the 5. Like, does that strike you as strange that like she didn't get the shit you gotten? Is that weird at all to you? Seems weird to me. As someone who was sexually abused and has professional experiences in this field, I just want to thank you for not being afraid to speak the truth and properly dissect these issues. Okay, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't want a ton of praise for this because, like, I'm not, like, a uniquely qualified person to talk about this. I feel like I'm just, like, normal. Like, I feel like I just have, like, a normal take on, like, or, like, relatively reasonable take on this, like, which is basically just, like, questioning what's going on here. I'm not, like, in a unique position to, like, be a fucking expert here because I'm not an expert. Like, I shouldn't be seen as, like, the god of interpreting sexual assault. It's just, like, there's obviously something fishy here that's going on, and I think people should be worried about that.
Through the same things, you don't understand what that does. You don't understand
if
how
they're
that
not
feels.
normal. Okay, I'm not normal, obviously. My take here is normal, I would say. Reasonable, okay? I'm the gyat. I'm the skibbity gyat guy, okay? I'm the guy who fucking... Look, we've seen what I do on stream, okay? We've seen the clips. We all know what's going on. We've seen the gooning clips or whatever. Where can I find this clip? You guys know the gooning clip I'm talking about? I think we've probably all seen it. It's pretty crazy. But, like, that's the kind of guy I am.
For other people. Me staying silent about my situation, who is that helping? I understand, it's just bringing up, because if you view it as drama, it is like, why are you bringing this drama forward?
I think at this point, you staying silent probably would have been the best possible option for everyone involved, including yourself.
But it isn't. It's sexual assault. It is me. My viewers know one of the biggest things I've focused on in my content is being open for the purpose of connecting. Because realizing someone that you watch goes through the same things that you do, it is so healing and it is so eye-opening. And
oh my God, dude. Virtue signaling, guys. The reason I make content is so you can see that, like, I'm just like you guys. Like, the reason I want to be like a famous Twitch streamer is because, like, I'm just like you. Like, we can be the same. Like, to be relatable, guys. Like, I'm just like a relatable girl. Like, I'm just like a relatable, down to earth girl who like is doing the right thing and like exposing stan culture and like idolization of creators, dude. I'm a good person. You can see my intentions because I say so. Do not judge me by my actions. Judge me by the things I want you to think.
Again, I will always, if I could do this all over, I would do it all again. Because the amount of viewers of mine and viewers that aren't of mine that have reached out to me saying they understand and that they feel safe now to accept.
Would it be essay if they smoked Marlboros together? Most definitely disgusting. Dude, you let an 18-year-old smoke a cigarette, freshly 18? You let a freshly 18-year-old infant smoke a cigarette? It's disgusting.
It's happened to them. Not even safe to come out about their stories because you don't have to come out about your story. You don't have to yell it off the rooftops to heal from it, But again, it is a big help. It creates this open discussion of
She's making me
hard things
sleepy.
to talk about. That's why I came out
and
about
I
my
just
story.
dry scoop G Fuel.
Again, I know it sounds hypocritical, and I'm acknowledging that, and I did things I probably shouldn't have with making it this drama kind of thing on Twitter by replying and being, people trying to get the final word or like people, and be with you guys. But now obviously I'm just in a very weird place.
Don't care.
Yeah. I again can't promise anything for the future, but I'll promise that I'll do whatever I love moving forward. And I wish you guys the best.
Hopefully, what you love is leaving the fucking internet and never opening your dumb mouth again. Oh my God! All right, I think this is probably the end of her response. I'm expecting some kind of response from George Not Found or Dream or someone like that, probably. If I had to guess, there's got to be something they say, given how bad this was. Jesus Christ! Oh, way to put yourself on a silver platter. Oh wait, have I not flexed this stream? I did arms today. Yeah, look, pretty bad response. I think we can all agree with that. Okay, bad response. I'm sorry that you didn't get sexually assaulted, Katie. I'm sorry you didn't get sexually assaulted like you wanted to be. It's your fault, dude. It's your fault. Now your career is probably over, and that's probably how it should be. And be sure to become a member. For $5 a month, they get the members-only podcasts and exclusive videos that only members get. Thanks so much for your support.